Chapter 22-25. If we don't use external forces, but we can't lock onto Longao's position, it's still nonsense. They knew that if they used external help to deal with Longao, they would have to give up everything that Longao had. How could they be willing to do that? However, they were helpless. What could they do even if they were unwilling? After all, they couldn't locate Longao with their strength. They had no choice. In the end, they still chose to rely on external help. Black Mountain Old Devil, whose strength do you think we should rely on? The two of them knew that by relying on strength alone, they could not lock onto Longao's position, nor could they break through the starry sky divine tool in Longao's hand. Therefore, they had to find someone with special divine powers. Jian Wudi? Linghu Yao nodded and said, "Not only is Jian Wudi powerful, but he also has special divine powers. If I'm not wrong, Jian Wudi should be able to locate Longao and break the starry sky divine weapon in Longao's hand." The Black Mountain Old Demon's expression was grave. This was because the Black Mountain Old Demon knew very well what it meant to be invincible. If they used Jian Wudi's power, it would be troublesome. You should know what Jian Wudi means. Black Mountain Old Devil, we have to seek Jian Wudi's help now that things have come to this. I heard that Jian Wudi is in the sky-devouring territory. He seemed to be curious. What is Jian Wudi doing here? I don't know, but I can contact him. 3 days later, they found Jian Wudi, a burly man with sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes. He was Jian Wudi, a titled universe master. Not only was he more powerful than them, but he also had various divine powers. Even the Starry Sky Realm Emperor might not dare to provoke him. Jian Wudi was a difficult person to deal with. No one in the First Empire was willing to provoke Jian Wudi. Is what you said true? They seemed to be afraid of Jian Wudi. No matter what, Jian Wudi was powerful and he had a strange temper. Although they were both from the First Empire, they knew that they were not on the same side as Jian Wudi. Jian Wudi attacked without hesitation. Linghu Yao smiled and said, "Brother Jian, what we just said is true. As long as we can lock onto Longao's location, we can get what we want." Jian Wudi smiled, a rare smile. According to the two of them, the treasures on Longao's body were indeed very attractive. Even he could not resist such temptation. "Don't worry, the two of you. If I can kill this person, you can each take one of the items." One item? The two of them cursed in their hearts. They had already guessed this outcome, but the two of them were still a little unhappy. However, there was nothing he could do about it. In this world, the strong were respected. "Thank you, Brother Jian." Jian Wudi brought the two of them to search for traces of Longao everywhere. The three of them felt helpless because they had already lost track of Longao. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for them to continue locking onto his position. It was almost impossible. However, they had no choice. For the sake of Longao's treasures, the three of them did not choose to give up and continued to search for Longao's traces. In fact, the three of them did not know that Longao had been following them. However, the Chaos Hall was too powerful. Not only were the two Starry Sky Universe Masters unable to sense the location of the Chaos Hall, but even Jian Wudi, a titled Universe Master, could not sense the location of the Chaos Hall. In the Chaos Hall, Longao felt helpless because he could clearly sense that the burly man beside the two of them was a titled Universe Master and his strength was far superior to the two Starry Sky Universe Masters. However, for Jian Wushuang, whether it was a Starry Sky Universe Master or a titled Universe Master, it would take him a month. Anyway, with his normal strength, he was no match for the three of them. Longao finally appeared. Looking at the three of them in front of him, Longao asked, "May I ask who you are?" "Jian Wudi. You also want to obtain my treasures?" "That's right." Jian Wudi looked curious because he could sense that Jian Wushuang was really a titled Universe King, and that Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Demon had not lied to him. This was why he was really curious. He did not know what gave Longao the courage to provoke the heaven-devouring Empire and the two Starry Sky Universe Masters. Could it be that he had the help of a Starry Sky divine weapon? However, after thinking about it, he understood. No matter what, Longao had such a powerful Starry Sky divine weapon and could ignore the two Starry Sky Universe Masters. In fact, even Jian Wudi himself was not completely confident that he could lock onto Longao's Starry Sky divine weapon. I really want to know if you will be as shameless as them. What do you mean? Jian Wudi did not know what had happened previously. However, he was very curious about Longao. He had high expectations for him. It was obvious that Longao had purposely recounted the events that had happened previously. After hearing this, Jian Wudi snorted out coldly. His tone was filled with mockery and disdain. After all, when one's cultivation state reached their cultivation state, they would not be this shameless under normal circumstances. It was still the same old saying. Even though they were all from the number one empire, they were not friends. Longao, I will not be as shameless as them. I believe you. Longao knew Jian Wudi's character from the first time he saw him. If it was someone else, they would have already attacked him. The two of you lost to Longao, so you should keep your promise. If you do that, it's really shameless. The two of them cursed inwardly. However, they dared not voice their anger. After all, Jian Wudi's strength was clear for all to see. If they angered him and he attacked them, the two of them would die without even knowing what had happened. They knew that the number one empire would definitely choose Jian Wudi, and not the two of them if they went to war. Brother Jian, it's time to attack. It was not easy for Longao to appear on his own. If he really entered the Starry Sky Spirit artifact and escaped far away, wouldn't all his efforts be in vain? Being attacked by Jian Wudi was not important. The most important thing was to kill Longao and get what he wanted. Then, everything would be fine. What about Jian Wudi? Shaking his head, he said with a smile, "Gentlemen, I suddenly changed my mind. I don't know how shameless you are. So now, let me tell you, I have no cooperation with you. So, if you want to kill Longao, it's better for you to do it yourself." Hearing Jian Wudi's words, both Linghu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Demon were completely stunned. This was because they had never expected Jian Wudi to go back on his words. Chapter 22-26. If they could kill Longao, would they still need to borrow Jian Wudi's strength? They weren't worried about Longao's strength, but Longao's ability to enter the universe artifact. They cursed Jian Wudi in their hearts. Even so, they didn't dare to say anything. "Brother Jian, we're from the First Empire. I won't repeat myself." They knew Jian Wudi's character very well. He wouldn't change his mind easily once he decided on something. "Longao, if you're a man, don't hide in the universe artifact. Let's have a fair fight. What do you think?" A fair fight? Hearing their words, Longao laughed. Jian Wudi laughed as well. There was only one meaning behind their laughter. Both Black Mountain Old Devil and Fox Demon knew it very well. However, under such circumstances they would definitely choose to ignore it. It was as if they had already forgotten about what happened before. "If I'm not mistaken, we've already fought before, and you've already lost. Longao, let's have another fight. If we lose this time, we'll definitely keep our promise." They still believed that there was something fishy about the previous fight. If Longao could really defeat them, why didn't he do it? There was only one explanation. The explanation was that Longao didn't have the strength to defeat them. As for the previous fight, it was just a bluff. Especially at this moment, Longao didn't dare to fight at all. They were even more certain that Longao wasn't their match. Thinking of this, "Longao, do you dare to fight? Do you think I'll still believe you?" Without giving the two of them a chance to continue speaking, Longao continued, "You two better save it. Longao, will definitely kill you in the future." "You." At this moment, Jian Wudi suddenly said, "Longao, I'd like to see how you shattered the universe. Is it convenient? So courteous? The two of them could not figure out why Jian Wudi was so polite to Longao. Could it be that Jian Wudi was afraid of Longao? It was a little ridiculous. Jian Wudi was a genuine titled world sovereign, while Longao was only a titled world king. The difference between the two was simply too great. They weren't even on the same level. Did Jian Wudi need to fear Longao? Jian Wudi did not say anything, and neither of them dared to ask. Sure. Without any hesitation, Longao reached out his right hand and gently clenched it in their direction. A shocking scene ensued. The space around the two of them was forcibly torn apart, and cracks appeared in the starry sky. Not only that, but the spatial rift was also being forcefully compressed. Fortunately, the two of them were prepared and immediately escaped. But even so, the two of them were still shocked. In the previous battle, they had been defeated because Longao had used this move. However, the two of them were almost certain that even if Longao could shatter the starry sky and compress the crack in the starry sky, he wouldn't be able to kill the two of them. The absolute difference in cultivation realm couldn't be made up for by other things. If Longao's cultivation realm could continue to break through and become a titled world emperor, he might be able to kill them with this move. But not now. It was because of this that the two of them wanted to eliminate the source of trouble once and for all. Looking at Longao's disdainful expression, Jian Wudi was completely shocked. At first, when the two of them told him about this, Jian Wudi didn't believe them at all. This was because breaking the starry sky and compressing the spatial rift was something that was almost unheard of. Not to mention others, even the 12 sovereigns of the vast starry sky seemed to be unable to do this. Jian Wudi couldn't figure out how Longao did it. Longao, can you tell me the secret behind this move? It would be a lie to say that he wasn't greedy. Jian Wudi knew very well what it meant to have Longao's move. If he could get his hands on this move, he could definitely kill the Starry Sky Realm Emperor with his own strength. He could even fight against a titled Realm Emperor. This kind of move was a little too heaven-defying. Even though Jian Wudi knew that he shouldn't ask about it, he couldn't help but ask. Not to mention Jian Wudi, even Ling Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Devil wanted to know. Shrugging his shoulders helplessly, Longao said helplessly, "Brother Jian, to be honest, this move of mine is called Starry Sky Control. I awakened it by accident. As for how I got it, I don't even know myself. Only a fool would believe you. Shut up." Hearing Jian Wudi's words, the two of them shut their mouths obediently. Jian Wudi nodded and said, "Brother Long, I believe what you said. Such a heaven-defying ability must have been awakened by you and not acquired. I can say with certainty that with Brother Long's current strength, with the help of the Starry Sky, even the Starry Sky World Emperor would not be your opponent." Without a real battle, Longao didn't know how powerful Starry Sky Control was. However, he knew very well how powerful it was. If he faced the Starry Sky Realm Emperor, he should be able to win. "Brother Jian, I don't have any grudges with the First Empire. As for the grudges between me and the heaven-devouring Empire, I believe they have already told you. They were the ones who attacked me for no reason." "I understand." Jian Wudi turned around and said with a sneer, "Longao is my friend. We hit it off at first sight. However, I won't interfere in the grudges between you two." Jian Wudi knew his own identity. He didn't care who was right or wrong. After all, both of them were from the First Empire. If he helped Longao openly, he wouldn't be able to answer to the Empire. The best way was to not interfere. Both of them cursed in their hearts. However, they said, "No problem. Take care, Brother Jian. We'll leave first." Both of them had never thought that things would develop to this stage. If they had known, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. Both of them were extremely regretful. However, things had already happened. Both of them knew that it was useless to regret. They had to leave this place first and wait for another chance. Just as the two of them were about to leave, "Hold on. What's the matter, Brother Jian? The two of them were actually very worried in their hearts, because they knew Jian Wudi's personality very well. If Jian Wudi really wanted to help Longao deal with the two of them, then the two of them would not be Jian Wudi's match at all, and would definitely die. They hoped that Jian Wudi didn't want to deal with them. Whether it was Longao or Jian Wudi, they could guess what the two of them were thinking. They despised them even more. As Starry Sky Realm Masters, they didn't have the domineering aura of a Starry Sky Realm Master. This time, I came to the heaven-devouring world mainly because the Empire has a mission. We're lacking 2 people. Follow me. Chapter 22-27. Brother Jian, please enlighten us. The two of them did not dare to believe Jian Wudi. What if Jian Wudi took them to a mysterious place and killed them? Wouldn't the two of them die for no reason? Just follow me. If I want to kill you, I can do it anywhere. Thinking about Jian Wudi's character, that was indeed the case. If Jian Wudi really wanted to kill the two of them, he wouldn't have to go through so much trouble. Brother Long, are you willing to make a trip? I want to know what's going on first. Although Jian Wudi felt like old friends at first sight, one could never judge a book by its cover. Who knew where Jian Wudi wanted to bring them? No matter what, Jian Wudi was still a member of the number 1 empire. According to the news that the empire received, a peerless divine sword appeared in the devouring region. Legend has it that this peerless divine sword can shatter the starry sky. Peerless divine sword? Longao knew very well that a divine sword that Jian Wudi thought so highly of must be extraordinary. How confident are you? 1%. That's just a rumor. If it's true, the Empire wouldn't have sent me alone. Alright, I'll go with you. The 4 of them set off at the same time. Among the 4 of them, Demon Fox and the Black Mountain Old Devil were the most depressed. They were extremely depressed. They never expected that Jian Wudi would suddenly help Longao. If that was the case, the 2 of them would not be able to do anything. If not for the fact that they were weaker than Jian Wudi, they would have attacked long ago. Brother Jian, if I'm not wrong, you should have a clue, right? Longao was no fool. He knew very well that Jian Wudi wouldn't have invited him over if he didn't have a clue. As expected, Jian Wudi smiled and said with admiration, "You're right. After decades of investigation, I finally got a clue. As for whether it's true or not, I'm not very sure. Therefore, I can't report this to the Empire." Couldn't he report it? It wasn't just Longao. The other 2 had already guessed what Jian Wudi was thinking. Jian Wudi was a sword cultivator. Who would believe that he wouldn't want a peerless divine sword that could shatter the starry sky? It was human nature. Not to mention Jian Wudi, no matter who encountered such a situation, he believed that it would be the same. Between the First Empire and the unparalleled godly sword, Jian Wudi would undoubtedly choose the unparalleled godly sword over the First Empire. Brother Jian, do you know where this place is? Seeing Longao and Jian Wudi calling each other brothers, the Fox Demon and the Black Mountain Old Demon gnashed their teeth in anger. Longao was only a titled world king, while the 2 of them were Starry Sky world venerables. There was simply no comparison between the 2. But what was the result? Jian Wudi completely ignored the 2 of them. Instead, he placed great importance on Longao. If he had the chance, he would definitely kill Jian Wudi. The 2 of them thought in their hearts viciously. However, both of them had already decided that if they had the chance, they would definitely snatch that peerless godly sword. After all, the temptation was simply too great. A mysterious low-level plane. A low-level plane? The 3 of them were very curious. In the vast starry sky there were countless planes. They were divided into 3 major levels: high-level planes, middle-level planes, and low-level planes. Among the 3 major planes, only the low-level planes did not have the power of the starry sky. Therefore, it was impossible to become a starry sky cultivator in the low-level planes. Only those who became starry sky cultivators in other planes could enter the low-level planes. Would anyone believe that there was a peerless godly sword in a low-level plane? However, the three of them did not have any doubts. They all chose to believe it. Given Jian Wudi's character, he would not casually say it unless he was completely confident. However, the three of them were very curious. Since Jian Wudi had already locked onto the location of the peerless godly sword, why did he not go there himself but instead told them? As long as Jian Wudi snatched the peerless godly sword by himself, who would know if he did not say anything? If the First Empire knew about this, would Jian Wudi be able to keep the peerless godly sword for himself? Definitely not. Therefore, the three of them could not figure it out. As if he could guess what the three of them were thinking, Jian Wudi said helplessly, "If possible, I would definitely enter the low-level plane alone and snatch the peerless godly sword. Could there be something fishy about this? I have already entered the low-level plane once. However, I realized that I could not break the seal with my strength alone. Therefore, I need the help of the three of you. I am a fair person. When the seal is broken, the three of you can snatch it. No matter who obtains the peerless godly sword, I will not have any objections. Do we have a chance?" Longao had never thought of snatching the peerless godly sword. However, Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Demon did not think so. This was because Jian Wudi's strength was clear for all to see. If the two of them tried to snatch the peerless godly sword and were intercepted by Jian Wudi, they would not even have the chance to cry. Although there was only a difference of one level between a Starry Sky Universe Master and a titled Universe Master, the gap between the two was insurmountable. Was it worth it to offend a titled Universe Master for a godly sword? If it was the godhead of a titled Universe Master or a Starry Sky Universe Emperor, the two of them would definitely snatch it even if they had to risk their lives. Unknowingly, the four of them had already arrived at a mysterious low-level plane. There was no one in this low-level plane. According to Jian Wudi, everyone in this low-level plane had been driven away by him. He did not want to cause the destruction of the entire plane because of him. Regardless of what Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Demon thought, Longao admired Jian Wudi. "The three of you, I have already sealed this plane. Unless another titled Universe Master or an expert of a higher level descends, no one will be able to break the seal that I have set up. Thus, you don't have to worry that this secret will be leaked." In fact, the three of them did not care. After all, the First Empire had sent Jian Wudi here. The person who wanted to obtain the peerless godly sword the most was not the three of them but Jian Wudi. "Let's go in." The four of them did not hesitate and immediately stepped into the low-level plane. There was no aura in the entire plane. Not only had all the people been moved away by Jian Wudi, but all the spiritual beasts had also been moved away by Jian Wudi. In other words, there was not a single living being in the low-level plane. "Brother Jian, where is the exact location of the peerless godly sword?" "It's in the southeast direction. Follow me." Jian Wudi led the way while the three of them followed behind him. The four of them sped up to their maximum speed. Within a few seconds, the four of them had arrived at their destination. It was a desolate wasteland, surrounded by a strange aura. Chapter 22-28. If not for Jian Wudi leading the way, it would be hard for anyone to find this place. This place was a low-level plane. "Brother Jian, have you found the entrance?" "That's right." Jian Wudi slashed his sword forward. The power of using his finger as a sword was no small matter. A spatial stone door appeared in midair. The spatial stone door emitted a terrifying power of space. "Let's go." The four of them immediately disappeared into the spatial stone door. As the four of them disappeared, the spatial stone door also disappeared. All around them was a vast expanse of whiteness. "Brother Jian, is the seal you mentioned here?" "That's right." Jian Wudi nodded helplessly. He looked at the white vortex that was spinning crazily in front of him and said helplessly, "This is the seal to enter the space. I've tried many times but I can't break the seal." "Brother Jian, Do you mean that the four of us should join forces? That's right. The three of them knew that even Jian Wudi couldn't break the seal. Even if the three of them joined forces, they wouldn't be able to break the seal. Two Starry Sky World Venerables and a titled World King working together were not a match for a titled World Venerate. He seemed to be able to guess what the three of them were thinking. Jian Wudi thought for a moment and said, Ling Hu Yao and Black Mountain Old Devil are definitely not qualified. However, Brother Long, with your Starry Sky control and my sword energy, we should be able to break the seal. The two of them felt helpless. Jian Wudi had been humiliating them because of his powerful strength. They didn't dare to voice their anger and could only endure it. Since that's the case, let's begin. Longao and Jian Wudi were already prepared. At this moment, Jian Wudi said, The two of you, we will break the seal later. You have to stabilize the seal immediately. Otherwise, we won't be able to step in. Understood. They did as he said. Jian Wudi used his finger as a sword. Longao used his Starry Sky control. Terrifying sword energy instantly shot out and started to hit the seal. At this moment, Longao used his Starry Sky control and cracks started to appear on the seal. He started to forcefully compress it. As expected, just as Jian Wudi had expected, the two of them joined forces and forcefully broke the seal. Ling Hu Yao and Black Mountain Old Devil didn't hesitate and immediately started to stabilize the seal. Let's go. The speed of the four of them was extremely fast. Taking advantage of the fact that the seal had yet to fuse, the four of them had already disappeared without a trace. They were surrounded by a dense forest. Is this another plane? That's right, this is definitely another plane of existence. The four of them instantly confirmed that the space they had forcefully broken through the seal and entered was simply another space plane. Jian Wudi sensed for a moment and said solemnly, According to my senses, this plane space should have been sealed by an expert. If I'm not mistaken, the person who sealed this plane space should be the owner of this peerless sword. The three nodded in agreement. The four of them were almost certain that the peerless powerhouse who sealed this space had already fallen. Otherwise, with this person's super strength, it was impossible for him to seal this space. Longao hadn't spoken a word since he stepped into this plane. His expression was both solemn and pleasantly surprised. Brother Long, did you sense something? Ling Hu Yao and Black Mountain Old Devil also looked at Longao. Brother Jian, I can clearly sense that this plane space has the aura of a Starry Sky Immortal. According to my guess, if I'm not mistaken, the peerless powerhouse who sealed this plane space, which is the owner of this peerless sword, should be a Starry Sky Immortal. Starry Sky Immortal? The three of them were shocked when they heard Longao's words. The three of them clearly knew what a Starry Sky Immortal meant. A Starry Sky Immortal was the most valiant existence in the vast starry sky other than the 12 rulers of the starry sky. Since the 12 rulers of the starry sky had fallen countless years ago, a Starry Sky Immortal was the most powerful powerhouse in the vast starry sky. However, just like the rulers of the starry sky, a Starry Sky Immortal was elusive. If the person who sealed this plane space was a Starry Sky Immortal, wouldn't it mean that there was a Starry Sky Immortal Godhead here? Brother Jian, your guess is right. There should be a Godhead left behind by this powerhouse. The three of them were overjoyed because they knew very well that if they could devour the Starry Sky Immortal Godhead, there was a 99% chance that they could reach the Starry Sky Immortal realm. At that time, no one in the vast starry sky would be their match. Since the 12 rulers of the starry sky had fallen, a Starry Sky Immortal was the most powerful powerhouse. Before the three of them could speak, Longao continued, Brother Jian, you have to be careful. Although there is a Starry Sky Immortal Godhead here, the Starry Sky Immortal has set up many obstacles. If we are not careful, we will die without a burial place. The three of them who were overjoyed a moment ago felt as though they had been doused with a basin of cold water. The three of them knew very well how powerful the obstacles set up by a starry sky immortal were. Brother Long, what should we do now? Although they didn't know how Longao had sensed it, the three of them knew very well that they had to rely on Longao. Otherwise, not to mention obtaining the starry sky immortal godhead and the peerless divine sword, they might not even be able to leave this place alive. Brother Jian, I have no obligation to help the other two shameless things. What did you say? The two of them had a temper. After being humiliated by Longao again and again, they were furious. They were afraid of Jian Wudi, but they weren't afraid of Longao. So what if Longao could control the starry sky? If Longao had the strength to do so, why wait until now? I've made myself very clear. Brother Jian and I feel like old friends at first sight. We can be considered friends, so of course we can help each other. As for your life and death, it has nothing to do with me. I hope you two can take care of yourselves and leave this place alive. It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. In any case, Longao always had the starry sky divine tool in his hand. If he encountered danger, he could enter the starry sky divine tool at any time. Not to mention whether he could get the starry sky immortal godhead and the peerless divine sword, just leaving here alive should not be a problem. But what about the two of them? They didn't have any starry sky immortal godhead to hide in. What would they do if they encountered danger? Although they didn't want to believe Longao's words, their intuition told them that Longao's words couldn't be false. Therefore, they couldn't leave Longao's side. Chapter 22-29. Would Longao help the two of them? There was no doubt about it. Not to mention Longao, even if it were the two of them, they would definitely not help their enemy. Brother Jian, you won't kick us to the curb after we've outlived our usefulness, right? All their hopes were pinned on Jian Wudi. The two of them knew that Jian Wudi wouldn't give up on the two of them given his character. No matter what, the two of them were from the First Empire. As for whether Jian Wudi would help the two of them, neither Linghu Yao nor Old Devil Black Mountain was confident. Brother Long, how about giving me some face? Looking at Jian Wudi in front of him, Longao nodded in the end. The two of them finally heaved a sigh of relief. However, the two of them weren't fools. They knew that even if Longao agreed, he had to be on guard. Who knew if Longao would suddenly kill them when they were in danger? However, things had already come to this point. Even if they were unhappy, what could they do? They were like lambs in a wolf's den. Helpless, the two of them could only compromise. Brother Long, what should we do now? Jian Wudi certainly knew what Longao meant. As long as there was a chance, he believed that Longao would definitely kill the two of them. There was nothing he could do about it. However, Jian Wudi didn't care about the life and death of the two of them. As long as he could get the starry sky immortal godhead and the unparalleled divine sword, he would be able to kill the two of them easily. Follow me. Longao took the lead and the three of them followed closely behind. The four of them slowly moved forward. The three of them were like headless flies. They didn't know where to go because no one was confident that they could pass the death trap left behind by a starry sky immortal realm expert. If they couldn't pass it, they would definitely die. The three of them were extremely frustrated. At this point, it was as if they had handed their lives to Longao. They didn't even know if they would live or die. Jian Wudi might be fine, but Linghu Yao and Old Devil Black Mountain were extremely worried. Should they go their separate ways? The two of them didn't dare to. Should they continue to follow? They were also afraid that Longao would play trick. He was at a loss to the extreme. Aura lock. Right at this moment, Linghu Yao cried out. They could clearly sense that the four of them had been locked onto by a mysterious aura. They couldn't act recklessly. Otherwise, they would be in great trouble if this mysterious aura attacked them. Longao, are you doing this on purpose? If you want to kill us, just say it. Why do you have to do this? Sensing that their auras had locked onto them, the two of them instantly targeted Longao. If it weren't for Jian Wudi's presence, the two of them would have attacked long ago instead of waiting until now. He snorted coldly. "Shut up if you don't want to die." As for the two of them, Longao was also extremely depressed. Jian Wudi also said coldly, "If the two of you don't want to, please leave." Seeing that Jian Wudi was really angry, the two of them had no choice but to shut up. "Brother Long, the aura here is not simple. Let's not act rashly. Otherwise, once the aura attacks, we will be in big trouble." Longao nodded. How could he not know what Jian Wudi meant? "Brother Jian, I have a way to avoid the aura lock. Tell me about it?" Jian Wudi asked impatiently. He knew very well what the aura here meant. Even Jian Wudi couldn't help but feel worried. Retreat in order to advance. Retreat in order to advance. Longao's idea was actually very simple. The four of them would attack their surroundings at the same time. When they found an opportunity, they would immediately seize the opportunity to leave. Left with no choice, the other three could only choose to join forces. The four of them attacked at the same time. They were originally going to attack their surroundings, but they chose to attack a certain point. With a loud boom, before the four of them could react, the aura had already started to attack. The four of them were shocked. The four of them stood back to back and immediately started to defend themselves. As for counterattacking, it was useless. After all, the aura attack was an invisible attack. The four of them didn't even know where to attack. Fortunately, the aura attack increased with the strength of the four of them. Even so, Linghu Yao and Black Mountain Old Demon were extremely depressed. This was because they weren't titled Universe Masters but Starry Sky Universe Masters. As for Longao, he wasn't too worried. Using his finger as a sword, he continued to attack his surroundings with sword chi. Currently, the sword chi that Longao possessed was no longer reincarnation sword chi. As for what kind of sword chi it was, even he didn't know. However, Longao could clearly sense that the sword chi that he possessed was far more powerful than reincarnation sword chi. Starry Sky Control. Longao used sword chi to block the aura attack while using Starry Sky Control. The surrounding space started to crack and it was forcefully compressed. The surrounding aura attacks were all devoured by the space crack. Jian Wudi and the other two were delighted. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the four of them left. In a short while, the four of them had disappeared without a trace. After running for dozens of minutes, the four of them gradually came to a stop. The aura around them also disappeared. The four of them then heaved a sigh of relief. The four of them looked gloomy as they knew that it was indeed very dangerous. With every step they took, they didn't know what would happen next. Longao, you'd better sense it clearly next time. If you continue to lead us into danger, we won't go easy on you. You're still too inexperienced to play dirty. The two of them had always thought that Longao was doing this on purpose. Fortunately, they were lucky. Otherwise, they would have died here. Longao's face was gloomy as he said coldly, "Brother Jian, it's not that I don't want to give you face this time. It's just that some people are too shameless. If you insist on doing this, I can only take my leave." Longao didn't want to give Jian Wudi any face. In his opinion, if Jian Wudi continued to act like this, who knew what would happen? The two of them were simply shameless to the extreme. What happened just now was clearly an accident. If he could determine the location at will, he would have easily obtained the Starry Sky Immortal Godhead and the Peerless Divine Sword. "Brother Long, please wait a moment." Jian Wudi also knew that Longao had made up his mind at this moment. Otherwise, he wouldn't have not given him face. However, after thinking about it, the two of them were really too much. If he continued to help them, wouldn't he be driving Longao away? If it was any other time, it would be fine. However, without Longao's help, he might not even be able to leave this place alive, let alone obtain the treasure. Chapter 2230. Brother Jian cannot be humiliated. Longao's attitude was extremely firm. Jian Wudi was not a fool. He knew very well that if this continued, even if it was him, Long Ao would be disgusted. If that was the case, they would be in big trouble. The two of you should leave on your own. Whether you live or die will depend on your luck. Ling Hu Yao and Black Mountain Old Demon regretted their decision. They knew that they had to rely on Long Ao, but they still provoked him. They were asking for trouble. Although the two of them were Starry Sky Universe Masters, they did not dare to leave casually because they knew the current situation very well. If they left, it would be hard to say whether they would live or die. Black Mountain Old Devil chuckled. They were as despicable as they could be. He said with a despicable smile, Long Ao, Brother Ling Hu Yao was too impulsive. We didn't mean it that way. Please forgive us. We can guarantee that there won't be a next time. It was rare for the two of them to lower their heads and admit their mistake. They wouldn't have done that if it were any other time. No matter what, they were Starry Sky Universe Masters. They were superior existences. In their eyes, Long Ao was like an ant if he didn't have a Starry Sky divine weapon. Jian Wudi was curious too. He had never thought that the two of them would lower their heads at this moment. It seemed that they were really afraid. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done that. Brother Long, why don't we give them another chance? It was always a good thing to have more power. Jian Wudi was very clear about the current situation. If the two of them left and encountered danger, it would be very difficult for him and Long Ao to resist. In Jian Wudi's heart, he was unwilling to let the two of them leave. They can stay, but they have to promise me one thing. Please say it. Before Jian Wudi could say anything, the two of them had already asked. A wise man knew better than to fight when the odds were against him. No matter what happened, they would stay behind first. As for the future, once they found an opportunity, they believed that the two of them would not hesitate to kill Long Ao. Regarding the shamelessness of these two people, how could Long Ao not know? Long Ao did not take the two of them to heart. He was fully confident that he could step into the Primal Chaos Palace at any time. Not to mention the two of them, even Jian Wudi might not be as fast as him. Jian Wudi remained silent. Long Ao gradually became the leader here. My request is very simple. From now on, you have to call me boss. No. Both Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Devil immediately rejected the offer without even thinking. What a joke. Boss? Although it wasn't difficult to say the word boss, it was a little difficult for them. Forget about calling Long Ao boss. Even if it was Jian Wudi, the two of them would not call him that. The two of them knew what Long Ao meant. He just wanted to humiliate the two of them. Jian Wudi was a little unhappy. Long Ao was too much. However, he did not say anything. No matter what, both of them were in the wrong. Moreover, it was obvious that Long Ao had the upper hand in the current situation. Brother Jian, let's go. Before the two of them could speak, Long Ao said again, even if you try to follow me, I have ways to kill you with the help of the surrounding environment. It's up to you to believe it or not. I hope you won't regret it when the time comes. His words were clear and direct. The more Long Ao said this, the more ugly and gloomy their faces became. The two of them did not know if Long Ao was telling the truth. If it was true, it would be more dangerous for them to follow Long Ao. In that case, the losses would outweigh the gains. Did they really have to call him boss? They were a little unwilling. They were a little angry. However, what could they do in this situation? What could they do even if they were unwilling? The two of them were helpless to the extreme. As Starry Sky World Venerables, they were being humiliated by a mere titled World King. This was the greatest humiliation in their lives. Agree? Or not? For a moment, the two of them could not make up their minds. If they shouted, where would their face go? If they did not shout, what awaited them would be death. They would not have the slightest chance because the aura attack just now was not something they could withstand. Looking at Long Ao, who was about to turn and leave, the two of them became anxious and shouted in unison, "Boss!" Hearing the word boss, Longao smiled, while Jian Wudi shook his head helplessly. He had seen arrogant people before, but he had never seen someone as arrogant as Longao. Humiliating two Starry Sky World venerables was simply courting death. Even if he had the upper hand now, what would happen when he left this place? If it was someone else, they would definitely not dare to do this. Only Longao did. However, after thinking about it, Jian Wudi was very clear that Longao must have done this because he had a Starry Sky divine weapon. Not to mention the two of them, even Jian Wudi himself might not be able to lock onto Longao's position and break the Starry Sky divine weapon. This was also the reason why Longao was so confident. He was a rare talent. If this person could be recruited into the First Empire, it would be a good thing for the Empire. This was what the two of them were thinking. Ling Hu Yao and Old Devil Black Mountain only thought of how to deal with Longao, but they had never thought of recruiting talents for the First Empire. However, Jian Wudi did not think so. This was the difference between them. Be good. Be good? Longao actually said be good? Hearing the word obedient, both Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Demon's expressions sunk. Their expressions were as ugly as they could be. The reason for that was because Longao was simply humiliating them. This was intolerable. So what if they couldn't tolerate it? As for Jian Wudi, he smiled helplessly and said, "All right, this matter ends here. The two of you better behave yourselves. If there is a next time, don't blame me for being impolite." Ignoring the two of them, Longao turned around and left. Jian Wudi followed closely behind. The two of them stood where they were and stared at the figure that was gradually disappearing. Their eyes were emitting a murderous aura. It was a cold, murderous aura. "Longao, just you wait. If I, Ling Hu Yao, don't kill you, I swear I'm not human." The Old Devil Black Mountain's voice was extremely cold as he said, "As long as we seize the opportunity and attack with all our might, we will kill Jian Wudi if he dares to attack." Ling Hu Yao nodded in agreement and said coldly, "Jian Wudi, what a good Jian Wudi. To think that you have been helping Longao to humiliate us. Since you are heartless, don't blame us for being heartless." The two of them were already determined to kill. Not only did they want to kill Longao, but they also wanted to kill Jian Wudi. As long as they seized the opportunity, they would not let go of it. They would kill Jian Wudi without hesitation. From this, one could see how shameless the two of them were. Chapter 2231. Brother Long, you've gone too far. How could Longao not understand Jian Wudi's intention? No matter what, they were both Starry Sky World paragons. Offending them would be troublesome in the future. But would Longao care? Since he dared to humiliate them, he was not afraid of them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done what he did just now. Longao did not mind at all. He smiled and said, "Some people are despicable. You have to ruthlessly humiliate them. Otherwise, they won't even know who they are. Brother Jian, I know what you're afraid of. But let me tell you, if it's possible, the two of them won't even let you go." Jian Wudi sighed helplessly. Jian Wudi was not a fool. How could he not know what kind of people they were? But could he kill the two of them? Although Jian Wudi was a loner with a ruthless personality, he was still very loyal to the First Empire. Otherwise, why would Jian Wudi always help the two of them? He didn't want to think about it anymore. Then, he looked around. Longao's face turned solemn. He said, "Brother Jian, something is wrong here. You have to be careful." He was shocked. Jian Wudi trusted Longao very much. He sensed the surroundings vigilantly to see what was going on. "Brother Long, what's going on?" At this moment, Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Demon caught up to them. Seeing the two standing still and looking around vigilantly, the two seemed to have guessed what was going on. They took 2 steps forward and came to the two. In the end, they were still afraid. As Starry Sky World paragons, their courage was nothing to be proud of. Longao was too lazy to look down on them. He said, According to my senses, if I'm not mistaken, there should be a starry sky divine beast here. Starry sky divine beast? The three asked in unison. If it was just a starry sky divine beast, they wouldn't care. After all, starry sky divine beasts were different from starry sky cultivators. If it was a starry sky realm emperor level starry sky divine beast, the four of them wouldn't be able to fight it. Longao seemed to be able to guess their thoughts. He thought for a while and said, "The three of you, you have to be prepared. Brother Long, is it really the realm monarch's divine beast?" The trio's face turned gloomy as they knew very well what a realm monarch's godly beast meant. Longao shook his head. Looking at Longao's solemn expression, the three of them seemed to have guessed something. Longao, don't tell me that the space god beast here is the world ancestor god beast? He could not believe it. The realm monarch divine beast was already not something they could handle. If it was the world ancestor divine beast, there would be no need for them to fight at all. In fact, to the four of them, whether it was the realm monarch or world ancestor, they were all the same. Longao still shook his head. The three of them were completely dumbfounded. If it wasn't the realm monarch's divine beast or world ancestor's divine beast, could it be? As if they had guessed something, the three of them asked helplessly, could it be an almighty divine beast? Above the universe monarch was the universe monarch, universe ancestor, and above that were the so-called universe almighty, universe legend, and universe immortal. If it wasn't the realm monarch's divine beast or world ancestor's divine beast, then it was very likely that it was one of the three realms above, a legendary existence. The four of them were really unlucky. Legendary divine beast. Although they had already guessed it, when they heard Longao say it out loud, their hearts couldn't help but thump. This was because they knew very well what a legendary divine beast meant. In front of a legendary divine beast, the four of them didn't even have the chance to fight back. But at this moment, Longao, who originally had a solemn face, suddenly laughed. Longao laughed. What did this mean? Could it be that there was no legendary divine beast and Longao was just toying with the three of them? It was impossible. The three of them knew very well that Longao wouldn't do such a thing unless he had nothing better to do. Putting aside Ling Hu Yao and Black Mountain Old Devil, Jian Wudi believed that Longao wouldn't do such a thing. Brother Long, what is going on? Brother Jian, I don't know if our luck is too good. Although there is a legendary divine beast here, according to my senses, this legendary divine beast seems to be heavily injured. Moreover, it has been forcefully sealed here and is on the verge of death. At this time, if we can find this legendary divine beast. Speaking up to here, Longao did not continue speaking, but the meaning of his words was already very clear. Hearing this, the three of them were extremely surprised. Star divine beasts and star cultivators were no different. They could also refine star legendary divine sparks. In this case, as long as they could devour the star legendary divine sparks, they would have a chance to break through to the star legendary divine sparks. Star legendary divine sparks were legends. Even in the First Empire, they were high and mighty existences. Brother Long, where is the legendary divine beast? Although Ling Hu Yao and Black Mountain Old Devil didn't ask, they were extremely greedy. They couldn't wait to get their hands on this legendary divine beast. However, the two of them didn't ask because they knew that even if they asked, Longao might not tell them. Anyway, with Jian Wudi and their relationship, they believed that Longao wouldn't hide anything from them. Brother Jian, I know what you mean, but I have to remind you that although the legendary divine beast is severely injured and forcefully sealed, it is still very dangerous. If you insist on going, I will lead the way. The choice was left to the three of them. Jian Wudi didn't think too much about it, but Ling Hu Yao and Black Mountain Old Devil didn't think so. The two of them couldn't figure out why Longao would be so kind. After all, it was a legendary divine beast. If they could subdue or kill it, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for star cultivators. What do the two of you think? Brother Jian, we are willing to take the risk. Wait. At this time, Longao continued, let's make things clear first. This time, we are looking for a legend rank beast. I believe that it will be a narrow escape. If we are lucky enough to obtain this legend rank beast, how should we distribute it? This was a big problem, and the three of them were very clear about it. Brother Jian, I will say the ugly words first. I can accept a fair competition. No matter who it is, I believe that no one will say anything if they are capable of getting the legendary divine beast. However, if someone wants to be shameless, don't blame me for being merciless. Longao was obviously talking about the two of them. The two of them were already shameless enough to refuse to admit defeat. Hearing this, the two of them were infuriated. However, if they chose to be angry at this moment, it would only be bad. It wouldn't do them any good. The two of them had a feeling that Longao was deliberately provoking them. In fact, Longao had already guessed that the Fox Demon and the Black Mountain Old Devil would not choose to step into the huge valley because he knew that they were afraid of death. As expected, although Demon Fox and the Black Mountain Old Devil wanted to obtain the Starry Sky legendary godhead, they didn't want to die. Longao had just said that stepping into the valley was a 9 out of 10 chance of survival. We'll help you guard this place. If anything happens, just summon us and we'll be there immediately. Be there immediately? When Longao and Jian Wudi heard this, they sneered in their hearts. They had seen shameless people before, but they had never seen such shameless people. The two of them would definitely not come in. They couldn't wait to see the two of them die. All right, the two of you will stay here. Jian Wudi looked at the two of them in disdain and followed Longao into the valley. Soon, they disappeared without a trace. Demon Fox and the Black Mountain Old Devil looked at each other. They could see the anger and reluctance in each other's eyes. However, so what if they were reluctant? Who asked them to be afraid of death? Longao and Jian Wudi had already invited them. They couldn't blame them. However, Demon Fox and the Black Mountain Old Devil didn't think so. In their opinion, Longao and Jian Wudi were obviously trying to take everything for themselves. It's best if the two of them die in there. What should we do if they die? The Black Mountain Old Devil was worried. No matter what, this place was filled with danger. With just the two of them, they might not even be able to leave this place alive, let alone get the treasures. However, Demon Fox snorted and sneered. Even if we follow them, do you think they'll let us go? I'm almost certain that Longao is thinking of all sorts of ways to deal with us. It's just that he's not confident. Forget it. If there's a chance, don't worry. He won't let us go. How could the Black Mountain Old Devil not know about this? However, in his opinion, at least he had Jian Wudi by his side. He would be safer. If the two of them were to barge in, they might not be able to leave this place. You're not willing to leave? Brother Demon Fox, I know what you mean. However, I still want to wait. If they can come out alive, we'll leave together. If they can't, we'll leave together. How about that? The Black Mountain Old Devil's attitude was firm. He was afraid of death. If he wasn't, he would have followed the two of them into the valley instead of staying here. How long do we have to wait? This was the key. They could wait for a day, a month, or even a year. What if they had to wait for 10,000 years? The Black Mountain Old Devil thought for a while and said, 3 days? To the two of them, 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Demon Fox didn't say anything else. He nodded his head in agreement. In the huge valley, the valley was shrouded in black mist. However, with the strength of the two of them, it wouldn't affect them at all. Brother Long, where should we go now? Jian Wudi had no idea about the situation in the valley. He had a solemn look on his face. However, Longao chuckled and said, Brother Jian, there's no danger in the valley. I was just scaring the two of them. Why should I give them the star legendary divine beast? They don't have the right. So that was the case. Jian Wudi heaved a sigh of relief. He wasn't displeased at all. He didn't like the two of them at all. They were a disgrace to the #1 empire. Moreover, Jian Wudi was very selfish. If it was possible, he would definitely want to obtain the star godhead of the legendary divine beast and the so-called unparalleled divine sword. Brother Jian, you have to be careful of Demon Fox. What's wrong? I don't know why, but I feel that there's something wrong with him. It's better to be safe than sorry. If there's a chance, I can show you. Longao had always trusted his intuition. He could feel that Demon Fox wasn't simple. However, he didn't know what the problem was. Jian Wudi knew that Longao wouldn't spout nonsense. He nodded and said, "I'll be careful. Brother Long, I have something that I need your help with." Chapter 2233. Go ahead, Brother Jian. He seemed to have guessed something. In fact, Longao was still very uncomfortable in his heart. Although he and Jian Wudi were old friends at first sight, after all, they were not close friends. Some things should be said, and some things should not be said. It was hard to speak. But after thinking about it, Jian Wudi said, "Brother Long, I hope you can let me have the peerless divine sword first. What do you think?" "No problem." Without even thinking about it, Longao directly agreed. Jian Wudi was a little dumbfounded. He never thought that Longao would agree so readily. A peerless divine sword left behind by a starry sky immortal. Jian Wudi was very emotional. "Thank you. Brother Jian, if there is a chance, I can give up the starry sky legendary godhead. But I hope you can help the soaring dragon empire in the future." Jian Wudi stared at Longao in front of him. Jian Wudi could understand why Longao did not want the peerless divine sword. But Longao did not want the starry sky legendary godhead. It was a little ridiculous. Jian Wudi knew better than anyone what a starry sky legendary godhead meant. If one could devour a starry sky legendary godhead, there was a 95% chance of becoming a starry sky legendary godhead. Ever since the 12 starry sky sovereigns had fallen, starry sky legendary godheads had become the strongest in the vast universe. After all, starry sky immortals were pitifully rare. Jian Wudi could not understand why Longao would give up the starry sky legendary godhead. Was he retreating in order to advance? As if he could read Jian Wudi's mind, Longao smiled and said, "Brother Jian, to be honest, I have not devoured a starry sky legendary godhead in all these years. I want to rely on my own efforts to become a starry sky legendary godhead." Such people were rare. Jian Wudi knew that if it were an ordinary starry sky godhead, even a starry sky realm emperor godhead, he would give it up because the benefits of his own cultivation far surpassed the benefits of devouring a starry sky godhead. But the situation was completely different. A starry sky legendary godhead was too tempting. Although Jian Wudi was confident in his talent, he knew how difficult it was to cultivate. It was almost impossible for a titled universe master to break through to the starry sky legendary realm through normal cultivation, even if one was exceptionally talented. But now there was an opportunity in front of him. If he was lucky enough, he could devour the star realm godhead and become a star realm legend. Give up? How many people in the entire vast starry sky would choose to give up? Regardless of whether it was true or not, he would definitely not choose to give up. The legend of the starry sky was his ultimate goal. "Thank you." Jian Wudi didn't say anything because he couldn't resist such temptation. If it were someone else, Jian Wudi would not even bat an eyelid, such as the two starry sky world venerables. Except for Longao. For some reason, Jian Wudi had a feeling that the man in front of him was not simple. Even he did not have full confidence in dealing with him. That's right, it was exactly this feeling. Thinking about it, it was indeed somewhat laughable. No matter what was said, he was still a titled world sovereign, while Longao was only a titled world king. The difference between the two was too great. They weren't even on the same level. Brother Jian, let's go. The two continued to move forward. Just as Longao had sensed, the entire valley was calm and there was no danger at all. If the two of them knew about this, who knew what they would think? Longao seized on the weakness of the two of them who were afraid of death. If the two of them insisted on following them in, Longao might still respect the two of them a little, but now, he despised them even more. This was the so-called Starry Sky World Venerables. This was the so-called emissary of the First Empire. The two of them continued forward, and before long, they arrived in front of a stone wall. There was no way out. Brother Long, can you sense the location of this Star Realm legendary divine beast? Jian Wudi was a little impatient. No matter what, he was a little excited at the thought of devouring a Star Realm legendary godhead. Inside the stone wall. Inside the stone wall? That was a shock. Jian Wudi had never thought that the Star Realm legendary divine beast he wanted to get would be right in front of him. If Longao hadn't sensed it, how could he have found it? Jian Wudi threw out a palm strike. In his opinion, with his strength, he could definitely break the seal and get what he wanted. In any case, this Star Realm legendary divine beast was seriously injured. It was unknown whether its strength could reach 1/10 of its peak. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Brother Jian, don't be impatient. The seal on this stone wall is the seal of this Starry Sky Immortal Expert. I can sense how powerful this Star Realm legendary divine beast is. Even a Starry Sky Immortal Expert might not be able to destroy it completely. He was completely stunned. A Starry Sky Immortal Expert couldn't destroy a Star Realm legendary divine beast? Was this true? Jian Wudi knew that Longao didn't have to lie to him. If that was the case, it was hard to imagine how powerful this Star Realm legendary divine beast was. It was unbelievable. Longao, are you sure you can break the seal? Others might not be able to do it, not even himself. But for some reason, Jian Wudi felt that Longao was very mysterious. Maybe Longao could break the seal. If he couldn't, then why did Longao come here? Brother Jian, you must be prepared. Even if I can break the seal, I might not be able to kill this Star Realm legendary divine beast, let alone refine it into a Starry Sky godhead. It's almost impossible. Jian Wudi wasn't a fool. Of course, he understood the meaning of Longao's words. Even a Starry Sky Immortal Expert couldn't kill a Star Realm legendary divine beast. Even if it was seriously injured, he couldn't kill it, let alone refine it into a Star Realm legendary divine beast. It was almost impossible. He didn't have the courage to do so. No matter what, he had already come this far. He was unwilling to give up so easily. Brother Long, if that's the case, let's leave. Even if he was unwilling to give up, what could he do? It was impossible for him to succeed if even a Starry Sky Immortal Expert couldn't destroy the Star Realm legendary divine beast. Longao waved his hand and said, "Let's break the seal first. I'm very curious about the origin of this Star Realm legendary divine beast. Even a Starry Sky Immortal Expert couldn't destroy it." Jian Wudi was very curious. He didn't know why Longao wanted to stay. Chapter 2234. Longao used Starry Sky Mastery. Starry Sky cracks appeared around the stone wall and began to suppress them. The seal that Jian Wudi was unable to break became extremely easy in Longao's hands. There was a loud noise in the air. Then, the seal on the stone wall was forcibly broken. Their faces changed instantly as they looked at the scene in front of them in shock. The stone wall was an independent small space. It was neither too big nor too small. There was a huge creature lying in the space of the stone wall. It was as big as a hill, and it was motionless as if it was asleep. Kirin. The creature in the space of the stone wall was obviously a Starry Sky creature. It was black and its aura was very weak. The legendary Starry Sky beast, Kirin. Jian Wudi looked greedily at the Kirin in front of him. He knew that if he could destroy the Kirin and refine it into a starry sky godhead, he would have a chance to become a starry sky legend. Again, the temptation was too great. Brother Long, this Kirin seems to be seriously injured. Why don't you and I try? If it doesn't work, we can leave immediately. Jian Wudi was unwilling to give up. Longao understood Jian Wudi's feelings. A starry sky legend divine beast was in front of them, and it was obviously seriously injured. If they chose to give up, it meant that there was a problem. Longao shook his head. Brother Long, don't we have a chance? Jian Wudi was extremely depressed. Seeing the star sky legendary godhead right in front of him, he couldn't refine it, and that was something he couldn't accept. He couldn't accept it. What should he do? Jian Wudi even thought that if Longao was unwilling to help, he could give it a try. Jian Wudi was very confident. If the Kirin was at its peak, he might not be its opponent. However, the Kirin was obviously seriously injured now. If he could not escape, he could kill himself. How could Longao not know what Jian Wudi was thinking? Helplessly shrugging his shoulders, he said, Brother Jian, although I've already broken the seal on the stone wall, there's still an invisible barrier inside. Once we touch it, we'll be attacked from all directions. As for whether we'll be able to leave this place alive, it's really unknown. He was shocked. Jian Wudi realized that Longao did not seem to be joking. Was that really the case? Although the temptation of the legendary starry sky mythological beast was great, it was not worth mentioning compared to his own life. Brother Long, is there no chance at all? He was still unwilling to give up. Even if there was only a slight chance. Jian Wudi's instincts told him that Longao must have a solution. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so calm. Furthermore, Longao would have left long ago. Why would he stay here? Yes, as expected. He was overjoyed and asked impatiently, What is it? Brother Jian, I can tell you this. Even if we can kill this star sky legendary divine beast, we can't refine it into a star sky legendary beast pill. Why is that? The reason is very simple. This starry sky legendary divine beast doesn't have a primordial spirit. No primordial spirit? Jian Wudi was completely stunned, because he had never heard of a divine beast or a starry sky cultivator without a primordial spirit. If that was the case, wouldn't it mean that the starry sky Qilin had already fallen? The origin of this starry sky Qilin is definitely not simple. Although I don't know how it did it, it really exists. After thinking for a while, Longao continued, the primordial spirit of this starry sky Qilin has completely integrated into its body, so it has condensed a strong defensive power similar to the immortal body. Even a starry sky immortal can't destroy it. Only the 12 starry sky dominators can. Jian Wudi was depressed. He already understood what Longao meant. The starry sky Qilin's defensive power was too abnormal. Even a starry sky immortal couldn't completely break it, let alone the two of them. In that case, Brother Long, let's leave first. Since they knew that they couldn't break the physical defense of the starry sky Qilin, there was no point in staying. No matter how unwilling they were, they had to give up temporarily since things had already come to this point. However, Longao didn't move and didn't intend to leave. What did this mean? Jian Wudi was completely confused. He didn't know what Longao meant. Since they couldn't break the defense, what was the point of staying? Could it be that Longao was the same as him and didn't want to give up? Logically speaking, that shouldn't be the case. Jian Wudi and Longao felt like old friends at first sight. Since Longao had already said that there wouldn't be any more starry sky legendary divine sparks and even the exceptional divine sword, Jian Wudi believed that he wouldn't touch them. In that case, why should Longao continue to stay? Just as Jian Wudi was feeling curious and didn't know what Longao wanted to do, Longao said, Brother Jian, although we can't break the physical defense of the starry sky Qilin, we can subdue it. If the starry sky Qilin helps the soaring dragon empire, It will be like adding wings to a tiger. Longao had already thought of a plan. With such an opportunity in front of him, how could he give it up so easily? No matter what, the starry sky Qilin in front of him was a genuine starry sky legendary divine beast. Unless an immortal starry sky descends, no one would be able to shake the soaring dragon empire. Jian Wudi was shocked. He never thought that Longao would want to subdue the starry sky Qilin. A starry sky divine beast of this level was very arrogant. It would rather commit suicide than submit. However, Jian Wudi was very clear about Longao's mysteriousness. Since Longao was confident in subduing the starry sky Qilin, it should be a sure thing. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't envious. However, Jian Wudi didn't say much. He smiled and said, "Brother Long, you are right. The soaring dragon empire is still very weak. Not to mention other things, just the heaven-devouring empire alone wouldn't be able to shake the soaring dragon empire. Therefore, with this starry sky legendary divine beast in the soaring dragon empire, before Jian Wudi could continue, the starry sky Qilin, who had been motionless, suddenly raised its head and looked at the two of them lazily. It said indifferently, "Get lost? Come with me. I can heal your injuries, but you have to protect my empire. Get lost." Longao wasn't surprised by the starry sky Qilin's reaction. It would be strange if the starry sky Qilin chose to submit obediently. Longao smiled and didn't take it to heart. He said, "I will give you one last chance. If you choose to submit and come with me, I will help you recover your strength. If you choose to reject, I will kill you directly." Jian Wudi knew clearly that Longao was just bluffing the starry sky Qilin. Chapter 2235. With just you. The starry sky Qilin didn't even change its expression. Contempt. It was a blatant disdain. Not to mention the starry sky Qilin, even Jian Wudi didn't believe Longao's words. As the saying goes, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. The starry sky Qilin's strength wasn't something that Longao could easily shake. He didn't say anything else. Longao clenched his fist and a shocking scene happened. The space in front of the starry sky Qilin was instantly shattered and cracks started to appear. Not only that, the cracks were forcefully compressed. The starry sky Qilin, who didn't put Longao in its eyes, was finally moved. The starry sky Qilin knew what it meant to shatter the starry sky and compress the crack. However, the starry sky Qilin couldn't figure out how a mere titled world king did it. Shattering the starry sky and compressing the cracks was something that even a starry sky immortal couldn't do, let alone a titled world king. As for whether the 12 rulers of the starry sky could do it, it was unknown. It couldn't figure it out. It really couldn't figure it out. "How did you do it?" "Starry sky Qilin, if you choose to submit to me, I can teach you this move." "How about it?" Jian Wudi was a little moved. If he could learn this move, he wouldn't hesitate to leave the First Empire and enter the Soaring Dragon Empire. However, Jian Wudi didn't say anything unless Longao personally invited him. "What's your name?" "Longao." "Longao, although I don't know how you did it, I can tell you clearly that I won't submit to you no matter what. I'm the greatest starry sky Qilin race. How can I submit to a human?" Jian Wudi seemed to want to say something, but he forcefully swallowed it. Even if he wanted to interrupt, it would be difficult for him to do so. "Starry sky Qilin, I'll take a step back. You guarding the Soaring Dragon Empire isn't submitting to me. We're just cooperating. I'll do my best to help you recover from your injuries and reach the starry sky immortal realm. You just have to protect the Soaring Dragon Empire. How about it?" This was the last fortress. There couldn't be the slightest compromise. The starry sky Qilin fell into deep thought. There's a chance. Longao knew that the conditions he offered were definitely attractive enough. Without mentioning anything else, just a starry sky undying wasn't something ordinary people could deal with. "How can I trust you?" This was the most crucial question. After all, Longao was just joking. Under normal circumstances, it was very difficult to break through from the Starry Sky Legend realm to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. It was unknown how many Starry Sky Legend realm cultivators had failed. The Starry Sky Qilin definitely wouldn't believe it. I don't have full confidence in shattering the Starry Skies, but it's not hard to forcibly raise your cultivation base to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. I can make a blood oath. As if afraid that the Starry Sky Qilin would not believe him, Longao immediately swore a blood oath. No problem, but you have to do me a favor. Also, we have 3 rules. I'm only going to enter the Soaring Dragon Empire. I'm not choosing to submit. Just like what you said just now, we're only in a cooperative relationship. Also, when the time comes, I'll choose to leave. You can't stop me. He was overjoyed. Getting the help of a legendary Star Sky mythological beast without fighting was what Longao wanted to see the most. No problem. What do you want me to help you with? Gu Tian heavily injured me back then and sealed me here. I want to take revenge. You can call me Yi Ji. Big brother Yi, I have something to ask. The Gu Tian you mentioned just now, is he still alive? This was the most crucial question, because Longao knew what a Starry Sky Immortal realm meant. If Gu Tian was still alive, even if the 3 of them joined forces, they might not be a match for a Starry Sky Immortal realm expert. Unless the 12 Starry Sky rulers came in person. Although I was severely injured by him back then, Gu Tian had completely fallen. He only left a trace of his remnant soul, which was sealed here by himself. I want to destroy Gu Tian's remnant soul. So that was it. Okay, let's go now. Do you have a place where I can heal temporarily? Sure. Longao had already thought of a place for Yi Ji. Without a doubt, it would be the Primal Chaos Palace. Although the Primal Chaos Palace could not accommodate too many people, it was more than enough to accommodate the Starry Sky Qilin alone. With a swoosh, Yi Ji's figure disappeared without a trace. Jian Wudi was very curious. He did not know how Longao did it, but since Longao did not say, he did not ask. Brother Long, congratulations. Jian Wudi was very helpless. He originally said that he could obtain the Starry Sky Legend Godhead and become a Starry Sky Legend. In the end, he did not expect that the Starry Sky Qilin would choose to cooperate with Longao. However, Jian Wudi did not have any resentment. If it was fated, it would be his. If it was not, it would not be his no matter how hard he tried. Brother Jian, I would like to invite you to join the Soaring Dragon Empire. What do you think? Longao did not have full confidence that Jian Wudi would join the Soaring Dragon Empire. However, Longao sincerely hoped that Jian Wudi would join the Soaring Dragon Empire. It was not to find an expert to oversee the empire, but to befriend Jian Wudi. Although the 2 of them had not known each other for long, they both felt that the other party was worth befriending. Jian Wudi thought for a while and sighed deeply. He said helplessly, Brother Long, I know what you mean. However, my master is in the First Empire. If I leave the First Empire and choose to join the Soaring Dragon Empire, I will not be able to answer to my master. Jian Wudi was a titled world monarch. It was hard to imagine how strong Jian Wudi's master would be. However, Longao knew that Jian Wudi's master was at least a Starry Sky Realm Monarch or a titled Realm Monarch. Then I will not force you. Longao knew Jian Wudi's difficulties. If he insisted on inviting Jian Wudi, they would not be friends anymore. However, Jian Wudi said, Brother Dragon, if you don't mind, I can become a guest elder of the Soaring Dragon Empire. That way, even if Master finds out, I'm afraid he won't blame me. A guest elder was considered half a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao knew that Jian Wudi had already tried his best. After all, he was from the First Empire. It was already good enough for him to become a guest elder of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Moreover, with Jian Wudi's strength, he would be superior no matter where he went. Thank you. With a titled Universe Master in the Soaring Dragon Empire and a Starry Sky Realm legendary divine beast, the Soaring Dragon Empire could jump a few levels. At the very least, the heaven-devouring empire was no longer a match for the Soaring Dragon Empire. Chapter 2236. Outside the valley, Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Devil had been waiting. From their point of view, the chances of Longao and Jian Wudi coming out alive after entering the valley were very low. It was almost a foregone conclusion. 6 hours later, when the two of them saw Longao and Jian Wudi walking out of the valley, they were completely dumbfounded. The two of them were completely fine. What was going on? Was there no danger in the valley? In an instant, Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Devil knew that they had been tricked. There was no danger in the valley at all. It was all Longao's act. He had to suffer in silence, unable to voice out his bitterness. The two of them knew clearly that they were afraid of death. It wasn't that Jian Wudi didn't want them. "Brother Jian, did you get the Star Legend Godhead?" Jian Wudi shook his head. They didn't know why, but when they saw Jian Wudi shaking his head, they felt a little amused. If the two of them got the Star Legend Godhead, they would become Star Legend Godheads. At that time, would they still be able to survive? "Brother Jian, what happened in the valley?" Even though they knew that the two of them didn't get the Star Legend Godhead, they were still curious. They wanted to know what happened to Longao and Jian Wudi in the valley. Lin Fan laughed. Before the two of them could say anything, Longao said, "Whatever happened in the valley has nothing to do with you. If you want to know, you can go in yourself. Unless you're afraid of death." Longao waved his hand to stop the two of them. He said with contempt, "If you're not convinced, you can go in and try. There's no need to waste time with me." Anger. Looking at Longao, Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Devil were enraged to the extreme. However, the two of them were speechless. Longao wasn't wrong. The two of them were indeed afraid and didn't dare to step into the valley. What happened in the end? Jian Wudi didn't seem to want to fall out with them. He said indifferently, "We didn't encounter anything in the valley. You two don't have to ask anymore. Let's go." Since Jian Wudi had said so, Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Devil couldn't say anything more. The two of them resented Longao even more. However, he did not dare to voice his anger. According to the direction Yi Ji pointed out, Longao led the three people all the way to the east. The two of them were very curious because they realized that ever since Longao and Jian Wudi came out of the valley, it was as if they had returned home. Could there be something fishy about this? The two of them were almost certain that Longao and Jian Wudi had obtained something in the valley. It was just that the two of them had not told them. "Brother Jian, where are we going now? Just follow me. Don't ask anything else." Ever since they left the valley, Jian Wudi's attitude had taken a 180-degree turn. It was as if he had become a completely different person. Could it be that the two of them had reached some sort of agreement? The Fox Demon and the Black Mountain Old Devil looked at each other and communicated with their spiritual senses. "Brother Ling Hu, what do you think those two are up to?" "I don't know. However, I'm sure that the two of them obtained something in the valley and reached a consensus. Therefore, we have to be careful." The Black Mountain Old Devil's expression was very ugly. He kept feeling that there was something wrong with Ling Hu Yao. However, he couldn't tell what was wrong at the moment. Without Yi Ji's guidance, Longao and the other three wouldn't be able to reach their destination. After all, the entire space was filled with danger. One wrong step and they would be doomed eternally. In an inconspicuous place, weeds grew everywhere. Longao looked at the place in front of him and found it hard to believe. He had never expected that Gu Tian's remnant soul would be sealed here. If the four of them were to join forces, they wouldn't be able to break the seal. However, the situation was completely different now. With Yi Ji's help, Longao knew that he had a high chance of breaking the seal. Brother Jian, why are we in this godforsaken place? Jian Wudi looked at Longao. His meaning was clear. In this situation, he could no longer make the decision. It was up to Longao to decide if he wanted to tell the truth. Jian Wudi nodded. However, before Jian Wudi could say anything, Longao said, "This is the place where the starry sky immortal remnant soul is sealed. If you want to devour the starry sky immortal remnant soul, find it yourself." Starry sky immortal remnant soul? Hearing this, the two of them were extremely surprised. Although they came here for the peerless divine sword, they didn't expect that there would be a starry sky immortal remnant soul here. If they could devour the starry sky immortal remnant soul, it would be beneficial to their cultivation. Longao, where's the starry sky immortal Godhead? The starry sky immortal remnant soul was nothing compared to the Godhead. Why should I tell you? As for whether there was a starry sky immortal Godhead, even Longao didn't know. Yi Ji didn't say much before, so he didn't ask. Longao, as long as you help me destroy Gu Tian's starry sky immortal remnant soul, I'll help you get Gu Tian's starry sky immortal remnant soul. He was overjoyed. This was what Longao wanted. Even he couldn't resist the starry sky immortal legendary Godhead. Even if he didn't devour it, he could give it to someone else. He had already thought it through. If he could get the starry sky immortal remnant Godhead, he could give it to his brother, Longing. If his brother could break through to the starry sky immortal realm, it would be the best thing for the empire. Hearing Longao's words, the two of them were infuriated. However, since things had already developed to this stage, they couldn't say anything. If Longao chose to fall out with them at this time, it would be disadvantageous for them. Brother Long, what should we do? Why don't we split into two groups? You and I will pair up, and the other two will pair up. What do you think? No. Ling Hu Yao and the Black Mountain Old Devil weren't fools. Of course, they knew what Longao meant. If they split into two groups, he would definitely want the Starry Sky Immortal Remnant Soul, and even the Starry Sky Immortal Godhead. Once they split up, who knew what tricks Longao would play? Longao, let's forget about the grudges between us first. We'll talk about it in the future. It's a little too much for you to split up like this. The two of them were obviously afraid. After all, they knew nothing about this place. Although it was dangerous to follow Longao, at least they were safe. In any case, with Jian Wudi by his side, Longao wouldn't do anything rash. Do you think I'll leave trouble for myself? Hearing this, the two people's faces became more and more gloomy and ugly. The meaning of Longao's words was very clear. He wanted to cut the weeds and get rid of the root. However, no matter who it was, they believed that they would do the same. No one was willing to leave trouble for themselves. Chapter 2237. If Longao chose to turn hostile at this time, what should the two of them do? Would Jian Wudi choose to help them? If it had been before, they were sure that Jian Wudi would have chosen them without hesitation. But now they had no confidence at all. The two people had a feeling that the relationship between Jian Wudi and Longao seemed to have taken a step closer. They felt helpless. If they had known this would happen, they would not have approached Jian Wudi. The two of them were caught between a rock and a hard place, not knowing how to deal with it. Longao, don't be so heartless. Longao smiled. Brother Jian, what do you think? One more person means one more person will fight for it. You and I can discuss this. As for the two of them, I can guarantee that they will play trick. Huh? They looked at Jian Wudi in front of them. They had never thought that Jian Wudi would say such a thing. He was completely undermining them. Was Jian Wudi going to attack them? Before they could speak, Jian Wudi added, "But Brother Long, it will be difficult to deal with them with just the two of us. As the saying goes, one more person means one more strength. As long as they don't attack us, we can still take them with us." They heaved a long sigh of relief. Longao nodded with a smile and said, "I'll listen to you." Jian Wudi and Longao simply ignored the two of them. It was a complete humiliation to the two of them. As a universe master of starry sky, they were superior wherever they went. They had never been humiliated like this before. But under such circumstances, they could only endure. "What should we do now?" "You two stand aside." Humiliation. Still humiliation. It was always humiliation. Longao wanted to see how long the two of them could endure. If the two of them took the initiative to attack, Jian Wudi alone would have an excuse to kill the two of them. Even if the First Empire found out about this in the future, he believed that the First Empire would not blame Jian Wudi. However, the two of them were indeed very good at enduring. No matter how Longao humiliated them, the two of them turned a blind eye as if nothing had happened. "Brother Yi, what should I do now?" Longao did not even know where the seal was, let alone breaking it. He still had to rely on the starry sky Qilin. "I've already locked onto it for you. I'll break the seal later. Remember, you have to hit it with one strike. Once you're trapped, you'll be in big trouble." "I understand." In the next second, Longao had already sensed the exact location of the seal. He could only wait. Yi Ji's power passed through Longao's body and headed straight for the seal. After a series of attacks, the seal was broken. "Longao, the first seal has been broken. I will continue to break the second seal. You all must enter the sealed area with all your might." "Understood." There were a total of 2 seals, and Longao naturally knew what the breaking of the second seal meant. If the speed of the 4 of them was slow, then they would surely be noticed by Gu Tian, and at that time, they would probably go for wool and come home shorn. But at this moment, "Longao, you have to be careful. The person beside you is not simple." "Ling Fox Demon?" Hearing Yi Ji's words, Longao's heart skipped a beat. This was because he had sensed that there was something wrong with Ling Fox Demon. As for what was wrong, he did not know. Now that Yi Ji had said the same thing, Longao was certain that his senses were not wrong. There was definitely something fishy about Ling Fox Demon. "Yes, I can sense a very terrifying power from this person. At the very least, it's similar to mine." "Ah? Almost the same?" Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew what similar meant. However, the Starry Sky Qilin's cultivation was at the Starry Sky Legend realm. If that was the case, then wouldn't Ling Fox Demon's cultivation also be at the Starry Sky Legend realm? Since that was the case, why would Ling Fox Demon hide his strength? After thinking about it, Longao could only think of one explanation. The reason why Ling Fox Demon chose to hide his strength was either because he did not want others to know his identity, or because he was the reincarnation of an expert and could not reveal his identity. "Brother Yi, has Ling Fox Demon's strength reached the Starry Sky Legend realm? Or is he just a Starry Sky Universe senior?" That was the most important question. If Ling Fox Demon was just a Starry Sky Universe senior, he could simply ignore him. In this space, with the help of the Starry Sky Qilin, it would not be difficult for him to kill Ling Fox Demon. However, if Ling Fox Demon was at the Starry Sky Legend realm, not to mention himself, even with Yi Ji's strength, they would not be a match for Ling Fox Demon. In any case, Yi Ji was injured and it would not be easy for him to recover to his peak strength. Before making a decision, he had to figure out this matter first. According to my guess, if I'm not mistaken, this person should be a reincarnation of his primordial spirit and has not recovered to his peak strength. Upon hearing this, Longao heaved a long sigh of relief. As long as Ling Fox Demon had not broken through to the Starry Sky Legend realm, everything would be fine. Again, if Ling Fox Demon was only a Starry Sky Universe senior, he would not have to worry too much. However, don't be careless. Although this person has not recovered to his peak strength, he has reached the level of a Starry Sky Universe ancestor. Even I am not fully confident that I can suppress him. If Yi Ji was at his peak, he would be able to kill Ling Fox Demon easily. However, the problem now was that Yi Ji was also severely injured. Hence, it would be difficult for him to deal with Ling Fox Demon. What should he do? Longao, you'd better not let this person enter the sealed land. Otherwise, he will definitely ruin your plan. Longao nodded. How could he not know what Yi Ji was trying to say? Brother Jian, come with me. I have something to tell you. Alright. Jian Wudi was curious. He did not know what Longao wanted to say to him at this time. Could it be about the seal? Humph. Ling Fox Demon snorted coldly. His face was gloomy and cold. The Black Mountain Old Devil could not help but shiver. He found that Ling Fox Demon was behaving more and more strangely. It was as if he had changed into another person. Could it be that he was provoked by Longao? Brother Ling Fox, what should we do now? Unknowingly, Ling Fox Demon had become the leader. Even the Black Mountain Old Devil did not know what was going on. No matter what happens after we enter the sealed land, you must deal with these two people. Remember, whether we can soar to the sky in the future depends on this. Even Ling Fox Demon could not resist the starry sky immortal godhead. Even if he had recovered to his peak, it would not be easy for him to break through to the starry sky immortal godhead. It was almost impossible. Chapter 2238. The Black Mountain Old Demon's face darkened. After thinking for a while, he said, Brother Linghu, forgive me for being blunt. Even if we can ignore Longao, we're no match for Jian Wudi. How could Linghu Yao not know what the Black Mountain Old Demon meant? I have my ways. In the distance, Jian Wudi asked curiously, Brother Long, why are you looking for me? Regarding the things that Yi Ji told him, Longao did not hide much either and pretty much recounted it. Jian Wudi's face turned gloomier and gloomier as he listened. So, Linghu Yao is the reincarnation of a legend of Starry Sky. We're in big trouble. Jian Wudi knew what Starry Sky Universe Ancestor meant. Even if he and Longao joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for Starry Sky Universe Ancestor. Jian Wudi didn't expect Linghu Yao to be a legend of Starry Sky. Moreover, he had recovered to the level of Starry Sky Universe Ancestor. It was unbelievable. Brother Long, what do you mean? We can't let Linghu Yao enter the sealed area. Otherwise, if something happens to us, Linghu Yao might ambush us from behind. If that happens, we'll be in a very passive position. Alright. This time, Jian Wudi did not even think about it and directly agreed. He knew how serious the matter was. Linghu Yao had a bad feeling when he saw the two of them return. This was because Longao and Jian Wudi's eyes had changed. Brother Jian, is there a problem? Yes. After discussing with Brother Long, we've decided to enter the sealed land first. The two of you will stay here and guard the place. Without giving them a chance to speak, Jian Wudi continued, Don't think too much. I just don't want you to take the risk. After we're done with the seal, we'll inform you to enter. Under normal circumstances, since Jian Wudi had said so, they could only accept it no matter how unwilling they were. However, what happened in the end? Linghu Yao shook his head and said with a smile, Brother Jian, you're being too polite. This time, Black Mountain Old Demon and I will definitely enter. Whether it's a mountain of blades or a sea of fire, we're ready to go. Black Mountain Old Demon was curious. He didn't know what was wrong with Linghu Yao. Wasn't he afraid of death by resisting Jian Wudi? Jian Wudi was known for his fiery temper, not to mention in this situation. What if Jian Wudi attacked the two of them? His face was very gloomy. Even so, the Black Mountain Old Demon did not say anything. This was because he did not know what was going on with the Fox Demon. Jian Wudi's face turned cold. Linghu Yao, what if I insist on not letting you in? The Black Mountain Old Demon could clearly sense the powerful killing intent emanating from Jian Wudi. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't worried. After all, Jian Wudi's strength was there for all to see. Even if it was 1 against 2, the two of them were absolutely no match for Jian Wudi. Once Jian Wudi made his move, the two of them would definitely die. "Brother Linghu, why don't we do it?" He waved his hand. Without giving the Black Mountain Old Demon any chance to speak, Linghu Yao sneered. All of a sudden, the aura on Linghu Yao's body skyrocketed. In just a few seconds, Linghu Yao broke through from Starry Sky World Venerate to Starry Sky World Ancestor. Moreover, he was a titled World Ancestor. The Black Mountain Old Demon was completely stunned. As a Starry Sky World Venerate, he naturally knew what had happened to Linghu Yao. Linghu Yao had concealed his strength. However, the Black Mountain Old Demon could not figure out how Linghu Yao had managed to hide it from him. Now that he thought about it, he felt terrified. If he had offended Linghu Yao and Linghu Yao attacked him, he would definitely die. He was indeed a titled world ancestor. Longao and Jian Wudi were not surprised at all. This made the Black Mountain Old Demon even more curious. He did not know why the two of them were so calm. Could it be that the two of them had already guessed that Linghu Yao was a titled world ancestor? It was a little ridiculous. However, the truth was right in front of him. He had no choice but to believe it. Since the two of you have already guessed it, there is no need for me to continue hiding it. Jian Wudi, do you think you can contend against me with your strength? The difference between a titled world venerate and a titled world ancestor was too big. They were not on the same level at all. Jian Wudi did not say anything. At this moment, he did not know what he should and could not say. The winner was the king and the loser was the bandit. Linghu Yao had already recovered to the level of a Starry Sky World Ancestor. He was not someone Jian Wudi could contend against. Even if he joined forces with Longao, it would be impossible. It seemed like the two of them were going to die here. Longao smiled. He did not seem to care. "Longao, what are you laughing at?" "I am laughing at your ignorance. You are courting death." Longao continued to smile. "Linghu Yao, since I have already guessed your identity, do you know why I have not made a move yet?" Linghu Yao seemed to have guessed something. His face turned gloomy and he did not reply. "I can tell you clearly that it is not difficult for me to kill you. Do you believe me?" How was that possible? It was almost impossible for a titled world king to kill a titled world ancestor. Not to mention seeing it, he had never even heard of it. However, Linghu Yao's face turned gloomy and cold. The calmer Longao appeared, the more flustered he became. "When I was in my plane, I was just a person who had not even reached the level of a Starry Sky cultivator." The three of them did not speak. They just listened quietly. No matter who it was, they were very interested in Longao's past. According to the information they had, Longao seemed to have come from a mid-grade plane. It was strange that such a background could be so mysterious. As for the reason, I cannot tell you. At that time, our plane did not have a single Starry Sky cultivator, but tens of thousands of them came. The strongest among them was a Starry Sky territory ancestor. Shock. The three of them seemed to have guessed something. Disbelief was written all over their faces. "I've come this far all by myself, so I don't need to say anything more. Demon Fox, if you want to live, then wait here obediently. If you don't want to live, then we can fight right now. If worse comes to worst, I'll enter the sealed zone later." Longao had gone crazy. If others saw this, they would think that Longao had gone crazy. Because of this, the fox monster was indeed intimidated, because he really didn't dare to be sure whether Longao could kill him or not. What if he could? After all, Longao was too mysterious, especially when he had the ability to shatter the Starry Sky and compress the space crack. It was a little terrifying. He was very afraid of Longao. "Okay, I will wait for you to come out." In the end, Linghu Yao chose to compromise. Chapter 2239. Yi Ji instantly broke the seal, and Long Ao and Jian Wudi quickly entered the sealed land. The seal disappeared once again. Brother Linghu, Long Ao is obviously tricking us. We slap. Before the Black Mountain Old Devil could finish his words, he was slapped in the face. The Black Mountain Old Devil held his face in disbelief. He was unwilling to believe that Linghu Yao had slapped him. If it was in the past, the Black Mountain Old Devil would have taken action long ago. Moreover, Linghu Yao did not dare to take action in the past. But now? Linghu Yao was not a Starry Sky World Venerate. He was a genuine titled world ancestor. His strength was far above the Black Mountain Old Devil. So what if the Black Mountain Old Devil was angry? After all, Linghu Yao's strength was obvious. Shut up. You are not qualified to speak here. The Black Mountain Old Devil obediently kept his mouth shut. He could sense the killing intent emitted from Linghu Yao. As long as Linghu Yao wanted to, he could kill him at any time. In the sealed land, the two entered the sealed land and immediately started to run frantically. According to Yi Ji, the two of them had to rush to the sealed land as fast as possible. Otherwise, not only would they not be able to destroy Gu Tian's remnant soul, but they would also be killed by Gu Tian. In a huge valley, an old man sat in the middle. He looked like an old monk who was meditating. There was no need to guess. This person was Gu Tian, the owner of this place. He was a Starry Sky Immortal expert. Yi Ji, you are finally here. Just as the two of them were about to take action, Gu Tian suddenly opened his eyes, giving the two of them a fright. Damn! How is this a remnant soul? This is his true body. Yi Ji's figure appeared. He was a skinny young man who looked sickly. Yi Ji did not expect this either. He asked in shock, "You didn't die?" Gu Tian smiled and said, "Yi Ji, do you really think you can kill a Starry Sky Immortal expert? If your cultivation is able to break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm, you might be able to do it. However, you will never be able to break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm." Who said so? I said so. You may not be right. Seeing Long Ao and Gu Tian talking back and forth, Jian Wudi was so scared that he didn't dare to make a sound. He didn't know what was wrong with Long Ao. The person in front of them was a Starry Sky Immortal. If they angered him, they wouldn't even know how they died. Gu Tian seemed to be extremely curious, and he asked, "May I know your name?" Long Ao. Gu Tian. Senior Gu, I can help Brother Yi reach the Starry Sky Undying Realm. Do you believe me? Do you think I'll believe you? What a joke. Gu Tian was almost certain that it was impossible for Yi Ji to break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm because he knew Yi Ji's situation the best. Senior Gu, why don't we make a bet? If I win, you will guard my soaring dragon empire for 10,000 years. If I lose, you can do whatever you want to me. Gu Tian started laughing when he heard this. Why should I make a bet with you? Are you qualified? Gu Tian was speaking the truth. Long Ao wasn't qualified at all. No matter what, Gu Tian was still a Starry Sky Immortal realm, while he was just a titled world king. They weren't on the same level at all. Yi Ji smiled and said, Long Ao, why do you have to lower yourself to his level? Don't think that he's a Starry Sky Immortal realm expert. He's not even comparable to an ordinary person. If he didn't scheme against me back then, who knows who would have won? He wasn't angry at all. Gu Tian smiled and said, Yi Ji, don't think that I can't do anything to you just because your primordial spirit has fused with your body. After so many years, I've traveled the entire vast starry sky and found a way to destroy you. Why don't you try? He kept retreating. Yi Ji knew Gu Tian's character very well. Gu Tian wouldn't act like this unless he had full confidence. Could it be that Gu Tian had really found a way to deal with him? Are you afraid? Gu Tian smiled and said, Yi, I've sealed you for so many years because I wanted you to reflect on your mistakes behind closed doors and change the mistakes you made back then. However, you don't repent. If you insist on doing things your own way, don't blame me for being impolite. They were the ones who let me down back then. I'm just taking revenge. What's wrong with that? Wrong? You still don't know that you're in the wrong? When the past was mentioned, Gu Tian, who had been smiling, had an ugly expression on his face. He said, "Back then, you destroyed hundreds of worlds and caused the vast starry sky to be in chaos. Don't tell me that you didn't make a mistake?" Longao really wanted to curse. He never thought that the starry sky Qilin by his side would actually do such an earth-shattering thing. He had only destroyed one world, but it was as if he had done something wrong. There were even people who stopped the Subjugation Alliance from dealing with him. It was hard to imagine that the starry sky Qilin had directly destroyed hundreds of worlds and countless worlds. What kind of concept was this? There was truly a saying that there was always someone better than you. Admirable. As for Jian Wudi, he was dumbfounded. It was hard to imagine how Yi Ji had done it. No wonder he was sealed here by Gu Tian. Perhaps only Yi Ji could do such an outrageous thing. Ordinary people really wouldn't be able to do such a thing. However, Yi Ji didn't care at all. He said disdainfully, "You're still talking about me. What about you? Back then, you were much more ruthless than me. You were 10 times more ruthless than me." Jian Wudi and Longao looked at each other and saw a deep sense of helplessness in each other's eyes. These two were really a little too powerful. Some powerful people were too domineering. One of them had destroyed hundreds of starry sky realms, while the other had destroyed thousands of realms. How powerful! Gu Tian sighed deeply when this matter was mentioned. His face was full of self-blame. Back then, I was impulsive. In order to make up for the mistakes I had made, I chose to seal myself for so many years. All right, stop pretending. Yi Ji didn't want to listen at all and directly interrupted Gu Tian. Others might not know about what happened back then, but do you think I don't know? In order to snatch the primal chaos stone tablet, you didn't hesitate to destroy one world after another. If the primal chaos stone tablet hadn't disappeared in the end, who knows what the vast universe would have become? Primal chaos stone tablet? I see. Longao knew very well how tempting the primal chaos stone tablet was. Even Starry Sky Immortals couldn't resist it. As for Starry Sky Immortals, other than the 12 Starry Sky rulers, Starry Sky Immortals were the strongest existence. It didn't seem difficult for them to destroy the vast universe. Thousands of worlds were destroyed. It was obvious what kind of method it was. Was it worth it to snatch the primal chaos stone tablet? Chapter 2240. Who was in the wrong? Different people had different opinions. In Gu Tian's opinion, he didn't do anything wrong. However, in the opinion of others, both Gu Tian and Yi Ji were wrong. It was indeed unreasonable to destroy hundreds or thousands of worlds for one's own benefit. However, in the vast universe, the strong were respected. The law of the jungle existed no matter where one went. It couldn't be changed. Longao didn't judge whether the two were right or wrong, because no one was in the situation back then. No one was qualified to judge. Yi Ji, what do you want? I want to kill you, but I know that with my strength, it's utterly impossible for me to be a match for you. Gu Tian, the enmity between us will be resolved sooner or later. Either you completely annihilate me, or you let me leave. He laid all his cards on the table. Yi Ji was going all out. He didn't want to continue being sealed in this godforsaken place, living a life worse than death. Yi Ji, you have to know that even if I'm willing to let you go, there will definitely be many people who will deal with you for your evil deed. Do you think I'm afraid? As long as it wasn't a Starry Sky Immortal, Yi Ji could deal with it. This was confidence in his strength. A starry sky legend was the strongest existence in the vast universe besides starry sky rulers and starry sky immortals. Everyone knew that the 12 starry sky rulers had all died back then. The current starry sky immortal was even more elusive. Yi Ji didn't believe that his luck would be so bad that he would encounter a starry sky immortal as soon as he went out. If that was the case, then he could only blame his bad luck and couldn't blame anyone else. But Yi Ji didn't dare confirm if Gu Tian would let him leave or make a move against him. After all, Gu Tian had already found a way to destroy him. If Gu Tian insisted on attacking him, it would be difficult for him to resist. Longao, I really want to know why you were able to move Yi Ji. Is it because you can help him break through to the starry sky immortal realm? Gu Tian couldn't figure it out. Not to mention Gu Tian, even Jian Wudi couldn't figure it out. What's the big deal about a promise? What if Longao couldn't do it? After all, it wasn't easy to break through from a starry sky legend to a starry sky immortal. If it was so simple, then why was Longao still a titled world king and not a starry sky immortal? If these people knew about Longao's cultivation speed, who knew what they would think? Maybe it's my charm? Gu Tian knew that Longao was joking. However, he admired this person very much. Because in the vast universe, Longao was definitely the first person to be able to do this in front of him. There was a titled world master beside him, but he was very respectful and did not dare to say a word. This was the difference between them. Yi Ji, have you really thought it through? I will settle the grudge between us in the future. However, I will not continue to stay here. I would rather die here. Yi Ji's attitude was already very firm. Longao, come with me. Longao glanced at Yi Ji, and when he saw that Yi Ji didn't speak, he could only stand up and vanish on the spot with Gu Tian. Why is Gu Tian looking for me alone? Longao didn't know, nor could he guess, but his intuition told him that Gu Tian looking for him was definitely related to Yi Ji. In a stone room. Please sit. Longao didn't stand on ceremony and directly sat down. The two of them faced each other. No matter how strong you are, just your courage alone is worthy of my respect. Longao didn't speak. You must be very curious as to why I am looking for you alone. Please speak. Strictly speaking, Yi Ji and I are sinners of the vast universe. Countless people have died in our hands. We have destroyed more than 1,100 realms. Countless planes and realms have been destroyed in our hands. Senior Gu, forgive me for being blunt, but I am really not interested in your matters at all. As for whether what you did was right or wrong, each person has his own opinion. Perhaps you were right at that time, but looking at it now, you might be wrong. Therefore, Senior, you don't have to blame yourself. Gu Tian was very surprised. He didn't seem to have expected that Longao would say such words. You are not bad, you are really not bad. Your talent is very strong. I believe you will be able to reach the Starry Sky Legend realm in at most 100 years. However, you can't reach the final step and break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. I can't? Longao had always been very confident in his own talent and cultivation speed. He had been able to go from an ordinary person to where he was today in just a few decades. Who else in the vast starry sky could do this? No one could do it. Longao didn't speak about his own matters. Instead, he asked curiously, Senior, what do you mean? Longao knew very well that Gu Tian absolutely believed in his talent, but he still made such an assertion. It seemed that there must be some secret behind the Starry Sky Legend realm breakthrough to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. This was also why Gu Tian was so determined to say that Yi Ji would never be able to break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm in his lifetime. You are not qualified to know this now. You will naturally understand when your cultivation reaches the peak of the Starry Sky Legend realm. However, I can help you break through at that time. As the price, you have to do me a favor. How about it? Tell me about it first. Longao didn't agree immediately because he didn't know what Gu Tian wanted him to do. What if Gu Tian wanted him to commit suicide? Would he agree? It was definitely an unrealistic question, so he had to ask clearly first. Gu Tian was very clear about Longao's thoughts. He smiled and said, "This favor isn't difficult for you. You just have to help me keep an eye on Yi Ji and don't let him do anything rash." "Senior Gu, is there a problem with Yi Ji?" Longao couldn't figure out why a perfectly fine person would act recklessly for no reason or reason. Unless Gu Tian was unable to control himself. If it was really like this, then Gu Tian could just continue to seal Yi Ji or kill him. As for Longao, no matter how unwilling he was, he could only watch and not make a move. You already know Yi Ji's identity. This isn't a secret, so it's okay to tell you. Yi Ji's family was destroyed by a starry sky, immortal realm expert. Back then, he was looking for this person to take revenge. Yi Ji eventually destroyed hundreds of domains and was forcefully sealed here by me. After so many years, I only hoped to eliminate the evil in Yi Ji's body, but I couldn't do it. Senior, then why didn't you destroy Yi Ji directly? This was something that Longao couldn't figure out. Why didn't he do so? Once he was dead, everything would be over. No matter how rash Yi Ji was, he wouldn't be able to do it. Could it be that Gu Tian had something that he couldn't say? Gu Tian sighed deeply and said helplessly, "His father and I are the best of brothers. P.S. Rest first. We will continue to explode at midnight." At the same time, everyone can support Little Jio's new book, Myriad World Divine Emperor. Little Jio is very grateful. Chapter 2241. The Best of Brothers. That was enough for him. Longao finally knew why Gu Tian didn't kill Yi Ji and only sealed him. It wasn't because Gu Tian couldn't kill Yi Ji, but because of the brotherhood between him and Yi Ji's father. Longao was curious. Yi Ji should know about this, but in the end Yi Ji seemed to be Gu Tian's father's murderer. To tell the truth, Senior Gu, I believe you know my strength. Brother Yi is already a star sky legend. Even if he wants to do something, I can't stop him. Forgive me for being powerless. If it was something that could be done, Longao would definitely not decline. But this was the only thing he couldn't do. Yi Ji might be seriously injured now, and he might be able to stop him. But what about the future? Once Yi Ji's cultivation recovered to star sky legend, the consequences would be obvious. Gu Tian nodded. Gu Tian knew what Longao was worried about. He smiled and said, "There's no need to be secretive between us. Longao, although I don't know your background, I can guess that you're not simple." Longao didn't say anything. "Your talent and potential are the strongest among all the people I've ever seen." Longao still didn't say anything. "You want to take Yi Ji away from here and take charge of your empire?" "That's right. To be honest, my soaring dragon empire has just been established." Longao didn't hide much about his empire and told Gu Tian about it. After listening, Gu Tian said in admiration, "You're really powerful." To be able to do this with Longao's strength, it was enough to show how powerful Longao was. Gu Tian had to admit this. "If I'm willing to take charge of the soaring dragon empire, are you willing?" F***ck I'm willing. Without even thinking about it, Longao directly replied. What a joke. Gu Tian was a genuine star sky immortal. If he could take charge of the soaring dragon empire, not to mention the devouring heaven empire, even the #1 empire could easily stop them. This was star sky immortal. Furthermore, if the news of the soaring dragon empire having a starry sky immortal realm expert overseeing the empire were to spread out, then the status of the soaring dragon empire would take a 180-degree turn, and no one would dare to provoke them. This was an opportunity. A starry sky immortal and a starry sky legend, if they could both oversee the soaring dragon empire, It would be the greatest help to him and the Empire. But Longao was very clearly aware that the matter was absolutely not so simple. As a starry sky immortal, it was impossible for Gu Tian to easily oversee any empire. Could it be that there were conditions? As expected, Gu Tian said, Longao, I can oversee the Soaring Dragon Empire. However, I have 3 conditions that I hope you can agree to. Senior, please speak. Longao had already decided that as long as it wasn't too excessive, he would agree to whatever conditions the other party proposed. Because the current Soaring Dragon Empire really needed a Starry Sky Immortal and a Starry Sky Legend to hold the fort, because he didn't know what kind of danger the Soaring Dragon Empire would encounter. It was better to be prepared early. First, Yi Ji and I will oversee the Soaring Dragon Empire only to help you protect the Soaring Dragon Empire. Therefore, we will only ensure the safety of the Soaring Dragon Empire and will not help you expand your strength. Gu Tian wasn't a fool. Of course he knew that what a newly established Starry Sky Empire needed the most was development. If the Soaring Dragon Empire wanted to develop with its own strength, it would definitely be very difficult. But with his and Yi Ji's help, the situation would completely change. It could be said that, with their help, the Soaring Dragon Empire's development speed would increase by more than 10,000 times. This was the deterrence of a Starry Sky Legend and a Starry Sky Immortal. No problem. Regarding this matter, Longao didn't even think about it and directly agreed. He also didn't plan to borrow the strength of the 2 to develop the Empire's strength. As long as the 2 could oversee the Empire, it would be enough. Longao's intention was very simple. He wanted to borrow the strength of the 2 to protect the Empire. As for the development, he could leave it to his elder brother. Alright, the second condition is that within 100 years, the 2 of us won't leave. As for after 100 years, we can leave at any time. Don't stop us. Longao smiled. With the strength of the 2, even if he wanted to stop them, it wouldn't be of much use. Although Longao was very confident in his talent and cultivation speed, wanting to reach Starry Sky Legend or even Starry Sky Immortal within 100 years was a bit of a joke. However, in Longao's opinion, 100 years was enough for him. He believed in his elder brother's ability. The last condition, Longao, if someone wants to deal with us, what are you going to do? Senior, you're joking. With your strength and Yi Ji's strength, I believe that no one in the entire vast Starry Sky is your opponent. Longao felt very curious. Starry Sky Legend and Starry Sky Immortal were already standing at the peak of the Starry Sky. Who could be their opponent? However, Gu Tian's expression was very solemn. He said, Longao, I'm not joking with you. Yi Ji's father and I made many enemies. If we leave here, we'll definitely attract these enemies. Moreover, my enemies are all Starry Sky Immortals. You have to be mentally prepared. Without waiting for Longao to speak, Gu Tian continued, although your empire can be temporarily safe with Yi Ji and me overseeing it, I have to tell you clearly that once my enemies discover my tracks, not only me, but even you and your empire will suffer a destructive blow. Gu Tian's meaning was very clear. It would depend on Longao's choice. Accept or give up. If it was anyone else, that person would probably choose to give up directly because they might be able to obtain temporary safety with the 2 of them holding down the fort. However, Gu Tian had said earlier that if his tracks were to be discovered by his enemies, then he and the Empire would be in great trouble and would probably be directly destroyed. However, Longao didn't even think about it. He nodded and said, Senior Gu, since I've made my choice, I won't regret it. I can make a blood oath here. If your enemies come looking for you in the future, I'll live and die with you. Longao really made a blood oath. Gu Tian was a little dumbfounded because he knew that Longao wouldn't dare to accept it. After all, the destruction of Starry Sky Immortals wasn't something that could be casually made up. Because of this, Gu Tian smiled with a face full of praise. He nodded and said, "Good, good. You're really not bad. A dragon among men. You'll definitely dominate the vast starry sky in the future." Chapter 2242. No one knew that Longao and Gu Tian had reached an agreement. Even Yi Ji didn't know. "Longao, what's going on?" "Brother Yi, Senior Gu has agreed to go to the Soaring Dragon Empire with you." Yi Ji nodded. It wasn't as intense as he had imagined. Longao was curious. He couldn't figure out why Yi Ji would treat Gu Tian like this if Gu Tian and Yi Ji's father were good brothers. It was as if Yi Ji had killed his father. Simple and mysterious. Longao wouldn't just believe Gu Tian's words. However, since Yi Ji didn't say anything, he couldn't ask too much. Jian Wudi didn't say anything from the beginning. Although he didn't know how Longao did it, he was really happy for Longao. "Since that's the case, let's leave." This was Gu Tian's territory. They could leave as they wished. Longao didn't kill Ling Fox Yao and the Black Mountain Old Devil because he wasn't strong enough to do so. As for the agreement between him and Gu Tian, no matter if it was Yi Ji or Gu Tian, the two of them would not help him kill anyone. Instead, they would only guard the Soaring Dragon Empire and protect the Soaring Dragon Empire. "Brother Jian, who is this?" Ling Fox Yao and the Black Mountain Old Devil looked at the two of them curiously. They didn't know why there were two more people. Could this person be the legendary Starry Sky Immortal? Jian Wudi nodded. His meaning was clear. "This is Senior Gu Tian, a Starry Sky Immortal. This is Senior Yi Ji, a Starry Sky Legend." Ah! Looking at the two Starry Sky experts, both the Black Mountain Old Devil and Ling Fox Yao were stunned. Especially Ling Fox Yao. He didn't expect that the Starry Sky Immortal didn't die and that there was another Starry Sky Legend. Even if he recovered to his peak, he wouldn't be Gu Tian's match. No matter what, the gap between a Starry Sky Immortal and a Starry Sky Legend was too big. "Greetings, seniors." Yi Ji didn't say anything. His expression was cold. As for Gu Tian, he smiled and said, "The reincarnation of a Starry Sky Legend. It seems like you can recover to your peak in less than 100 years. "Yes, senior." Gu Tian saw through Ling Fox Yao's true identity. "Let's go." Gu Tian didn't seem to want to stay any longer. A ball of white light enveloped everyone, and in the next second, everyone had already disappeared without a trace. Spiritual sense communication. "Longao, do you have some sort of agreement with Gu Tian?" "Yes." Longao didn't conceal much about the agreement between him and Gu Tian, and he roughly explained it to Gu Tian. Yi Ji was silent for a while and then said, "He's right. He and my father are sworn friends." Looks like Gu Tian didn't lie. He really is a good brother. "Big brother Yi, there's something I don't understand. Since he and your father are sworn friends, why did you guys end up like this? And you seem to be very hostile towards him." Yi Ji wanted nothing more than to destroy Gu Tian. This kind of hatred seemed a little abnormal. "My father is also a space undying." Longao had already guessed this point, so he didn't feel surprised at all. Back then, Gu Tian and my father both broke through to the space undying realm and roamed the vast starry sky. When the two of them joined hands, almost no one could defeat them. But there was an accident that caused the two of them to offend extremely terrifying existences, and they were besieged by dozens of space undying existences. At that time, Gu Tian didn't care about my father's safety and left by himself, and my father had to fight against so many alone. In the end, he died, and he didn't even have the chance to reincarnate. Tell me, should I take revenge for my father? So that's how it is. Longao finally understood the enmity between the two of them. Should Gu Tian be blamed for this? It's still the same saying. Different people have different opinions. Fleeing in the face of life and death, Gu Tian really did do something wrong. But Yi Ji looking for Gu Tian to take revenge was a little unreasonable. After all, his father wasn't killed by Gu Tian. Longao didn't say anything, because in this kind of situation, he didn't know what he should or could say. Longao, do you think I did something wrong? Originally, Yi Ji didn't want to say anything, but since the other party had already asked him, how could he not say anything? Brother Yi, I'll get straight to the point. Did you see what happened back then with your own eyes? No, someone told me, Yi Zichen said. I see. Since Gu Tian and your father were sworn friends, according to my guess, the two of them must have gone through countless life and death situations. Have you ever thought about why he didn't flee in the face of danger but chose to leave by himself that time? Yi Ji became silent. Thinking about it carefully, it was indeed a little strange. However, he had been blinded by hatred back then. He only hoped to kill Gu Tian and take revenge for his father. Brother Yi, forgive me for being blunt, but there's definitely something fishy about this matter. You should look for Senior Gu and ask him about it. There might be something fishy about it. After leaving the plane, the six of them were very fast. In a short while, they had already entered the soaring dragon domain. Brother Jian, we still have things to do. We won't disturb you any longer. Ling Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Demon already knew about the two Starry Sky elites overseeing the soaring dragon empire. Although they did not know how long Ao did it, other than envy and jealousy, there was nothing else they could do. And take care. Looking at the two disappearing figures, Long Ao didn't make a move in the end. In the distance, Black Mountain Old Devil sighed deeply and said helplessly, the current Soaring Dragon Empire is no longer the Soaring Dragon Empire of the past. If the Empire knows about this, it will be difficult for us to continue dealing with Long Ao. The two of them knew very well what a space undying expert and a legend represented. Even the number one empire wouldn't casually provoke the Soaring Dragon Empire, let alone an ordinary space empire. The reason was simple. The current Soaring Dragon Empire was no longer the same as before. With a space legend and a space undying expert guarding the empire, it was obvious what it meant. Fox Demon snorted heavily and his face was extremely gloomy. He said coldly, "Don't leak this out, and don't let the Empire know about it. I don't believe that Long Ao will hide in the Empire forever. As long as he leaves the Soaring Dragon Realm, we will find a way to kill him." Since things had already come to this, there was no other way. Even if Black Mountain Old Devil was unwilling, he could only follow Fox Demon and wait for an opportunity to kill Long Ao because of how powerful Fox Demon was now. Black Mountain Old Devil was now in a difficult situation. He couldn't advance or retreat. If he took a wrong step, he would definitely die. Looking at the Soaring Dragon Realm in the distance, the corners of the Fox Demon's mouth slowly curled into a sneer. He muttered to himself, "Long Ao, just you wait. I will definitely tear you into pieces. Ha ha ha." Chapter 2243. Jian Wudi didn't leave immediately. Instead, he followed Long Ao back to the Soaring Dragon Realm. As a guest elder of the Soaring Dragon Empire, Jian Wudi could be considered half a person of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Long Ao didn't publicize Gu Tian and Yi Ji's identities. He only told Long Ying, "Seventh brother, with two Starry Sky experts overseeing the Empire, won't it backfire?" Long Ao was very clear about his big brother's worries. With Yi Ji and Gu Tian's strength, if the two of them attacked the Empire in the future, the Empire wouldn't be able to resist at all. Long Ao smiled. "Big brother, the two of them won't attack the Empire, but we only have 100 years. Since his seventh brother said so, Long Ying was a little less worried. "Seventh brother, leave the Empire to me, but I'm very worried about the family's safety." "What's wrong?" Long Ying thought for a moment and said, "I don't know why, but I've been feeling uneasy lately. I keep feeling that something is going to happen to the family. Anyway, our empire is on the right track. Why don't we move the family here? That way, we won't have to worry so much. Longao hadn't thought about this matter yet. Move? Longao knew very well what moving meant. If they chose to move now, would the god diviner suspect anything? Even now, Longao wasn't sure what the god diviner meant. As the strongest expert in the vast universe and the only starry sky ruler, if the god diviner made a move, it would be difficult to deal with him. Now, he only had Long Chong by his side. If Long Chong could refine the primal chaos tablet and become the starry sky ruler, then the god diviner might be wary of the starry sky ruler and not act recklessly. But now it was hard to say. Seventh brother, is there a problem? Longing didn't know the pros and cons, so he didn't know what Longao was worried about. Big brother, I know what you mean, but there's only one thing I have to think about now, and that's the god diviner. The god diviner shouldn't be our enemy, right? You can't judge a book by its cover. Not even the 11 rulers of the starry sky had been able to see Master God Diviner's true face, much less Yang Qi. Big brother, I'll go to the Sky Martial Realm later. As for whether I can relocate my family, I'll have to see the situation first. Alright. Right at this moment, Jian Wudi walked in. Big brother, let me introduce you. This is Jian Wudi. Brother Jian has already agreed to become a guest elder of the empire. He was overjoyed. Regarding Jian Wudi's situation, Longing roughly understood already. A titled universe master was a great help to the empire. Hello, Your Majesty. If not for Longao, would Jian Wudi place Longing in his sights? As a titled universe master and the messenger of the First Empire, Jian Wudi did not even care about the Emperor of the Sky-Devouring Empire, let alone the Emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Longing immediately stood up to welcome him and said with a smile, Sword Elder is too polite. Of course, Longing knew that if not for her seventh brother, a titled universe master would not have been so polite. Brother Long, the matter of the peerless divine sword has fallen through. I'm going to choose a day to leave and return to the First Empire. Jian Wudi was about to leave. Brother Jian, why don't you leave later? I have a way to help you break through. Jian Wudi was now a titled universe master. If he continued to break through, he would be able to become a Starry Sky Realm Emperor. Now that Jian Wudi was one of his people, Longao was ready to forcibly increase his strength. Really? Jian Wudi was overjoyed because he knew that Longao would not lie to him without full confidence. Could it be that Longao really had a way to forcibly increase his strength? Brother Jian, you can't be too hasty. Alright, in that case I'll stay. Jian Wudi's decision to stay made Longing very happy. A titled universe master, a starry sky legend, and a starry sky immortal. With such powerful strength, no one would dare to get close to them. However, Longao was helpless. No matter how powerful the three of them were, they were still outsiders. Even Jian Wudi was half a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire. If the Empire and the First Empire turned against each other in the future, what would Jian Wudi choose? Would he choose to help himself or the First Empire? In the end, he still had to develop his own strength. The only way now was to create a large number of Starry Sky Corps slaves. Longao knew that it was not easy to find an expert to guard the Empire. It was impossible for the Empire to remain stagnant. If that was the case, what was the point of establishing the Empire? That was why Longao immediately started to create a large number of Starry Sky Corps slaves after settling the family matters. At the back of the mountain, Longao specially opened up a place with an elegant environment at the back of the mountain. However, it was separated. One was Yi Ji's residence, and the other was Gu Tian's residence. As for whether the two of them would fight, Longao could only pray that they wouldn't. Longao found the two of them and went straight to the point. Brother Yi, Senior Gu, the two of you have been friends for a long time. If there's a misunderstanding, you can say it. Gu Tian sighed deeply and said helplessly, "This is a serious matter. If I could say it, I would have said it back then. All those years ago, if it wasn't for you abandoning my father and leaving by yourself, my father wouldn't have fought against so many and perished in the end." Up until this moment, Yi Ji was still brooding about it, and he wished for nothing more than to kill Gu Tian and take revenge for his father. Gu Tian didn't get angry at all. He said helplessly, "If I had the slightest chance back then, I definitely wouldn't have chosen to leave by myself. Your father and I have been friends for life. Do you think I would abandon him?" This was something that Longao couldn't figure out. Since the two of them were friends for life, why didn't something like this happen in the past? It just so happened that Gu Tian chose to leave by himself that time. It was extremely strange. There was definitely something fishy about this. It was just that Gu Tian wasn't willing to speak of it, causing Yi Ji to always think that his father had died because of Gu Tian. Senior Gu, there are some things that are better explained clearly. You don't want your brother's son to always look for trouble with you and take you as an enemy. Yi Ji didn't speak, and it could be considered to indicate his agreement with Longao's words. Because Yi Ji gradually noticed that perhaps there really was something fishy about the incident all those years ago. Gu Tian, speak frankly. Otherwise, I'll kill you even if I have to go to the ends of the world to take revenge for my father. Since it's like this, then I'll tell you. But you have to promise me that no matter what happens, you have to remain calm. Chapter 2244. Sure. After obtaining Yi Ji's guarantee, Gu Tian spoke of everything that happened back then in full detail. So, countless years ago, Gu Tian and Yi Ji's father were sworn brothers. After many years of hard work, they finally broke through to the starry sky undying realm and reached a very high level. The two of them worked together and roamed the starry sky. However, there was one time when the two of them got news about the Primal Chaos Tablet and successfully obtained one of the Primal Chaos Tablet. Unfortunately, they were besieged by dozens of Starry Sky Undying Realm experts. At that time, Yi Ji's father was heavily injured. Gu Tian was furious and destroyed thousands of Starry Sky realms and killed 2 Starry Sky Undying Realm experts. Unfortunately, they were outnumbered and couldn't resist the joint attack of dozens of Starry Sky Undying Realm experts. They lived and died together. They didn't leave. Unfortunately, Yi Ji's mother was already pregnant. If they didn't choose to leave in time, the consequences would be obvious. Yi Ji's father was heavily injured and couldn't leave. Helpless, Gu Tian could only take Yi Ji's mother and leave, leaving Yi Ji's father alone to resist the dozens of Starry Sky Undying Realm experts. It could be considered as giving them time to leave. Yi Ji's mother died after giving birth to him. After hearing this, Longao went silent. Yi Ji went silent as well. Could Gu Tian be blamed for this? Not only could Yi Ji not blame Gu Tian, he even had to thank him. If Gu Tian hadn't risked his life to save him, Yi Ji would have died back then. Would he still be standing here? Gu Tian sighed deeply and said, "Your father is my good brother. We shouldn't have been greedy and tried to seize the Primal Chaos Tablet. In the end, one of us died and the other was injured." Yi Ji wasn't the only one who knew that Gu Tian was injured. Even Longao knew about this. "Gu Tian, how do I know if you're telling the truth? You don't have to believe me, and I don't need you to believe me either. I do things with a clear conscience. Your father is my benefactor, and he is also my good brother. Do you really think that I would abandon him and choose to leave alone?" Longao's intuition told him that Gu Tian was telling the truth. Actually, Yi Ji believed it too. "Uncle Gu, I've wronged you." He sighed deeply again. "It's good that you understand. Uncle Gu, I want to ask, who were the people that besieged you?" Taking revenge for his father was a matter of course. Gu Tian knew that once he said this, Yi Ji would definitely choose to take revenge. Yi Ji, your parents are already dead. You are the only member of the Starry Sky Qilin clan, so nothing can happen to you. Otherwise, how am I going to answer to your dead parents? Uncle Gu, I just want to know. But don't worry, I won't act recklessly before I break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm. No. Before Yi Ji could speak, Gu Tian continued, not to mention now, even if your cultivation had smoothly broken through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm, it would still be impossible for you to take revenge. If it was possible, then why would I wait until now? Dozens of space undyings, how could they take revenge? Unless the 12 rulers of the Starry Sky came in person, or if they used absolute numbers to suppress them. Big Brother Yi, listen to Senior Gu. Wait until you break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm. Even if you know now, it won't be of any use. It might even interfere with your cultivation. Yi Ji also knew what the two of them meant. In the end, he could only nod and say, Longao, didn't you say that you have a way to increase my strength? Yes, but not now. How long do we have to wait? I don't know. This was the truth. Yi Ji's expression instantly became unsightly, but he endured it. The two of them had buried the hatchet. Longao finally let out a sigh of relief. He naturally didn't want to see the two of them fight, because once they did, it wouldn't be a problem for the Empire. In that case, the Empire should be safe for the next 100 years. After settling the matter of the Empire, Longao didn't linger. He immediately got up and left the Martial Heaven continent. As soon as Longao entered, the God Diviner sensed him. In the outer sea, in the Crystal Palace. Longao, why did you come back for no reason? Longao went straight to the point. Even if the God Diviner really was his enemy, he wouldn't hesitate. Senior God Diviner, I came back this time mainly to relocate my family. To tell you the truth, I've already established my own empire, and have been separated for many years. He did not continue speaking, but the meaning of Longao's words was clear. The God Diviner wasn't as angry as he had imagined. Instead, he smiled. I understand what you mean. There's no problem at all. However, Longao, you have to be careful. Don't think that just because the Soaring Dragon Empire has a Starry Sky Immortal overseeing it, you can rest easy. He wasn't surprised at all. Longao had already heard of the God Diviner's Tao of Divination. After refining the Divination Primal Chaos Tablet, the God Diviner could calculate almost anything. Thus, the matter of the two of them overseeing the Soaring Dragon Empire definitely wouldn't be hidden from him. Senior, please tell me. I trust you already know about Gu Tian. I won't hide it from you. Gu Tian and Yi Ji's enemies aren't ordinary people, but dozens of Starry Sky Immortals from the 9 great cosmic empires. Do you think your Soaring Dragon Empire will be safe if this matter is leaked? Longao's face instantly turned solemn. Of course, he knew what the 9 great Starry Sky Empire meant. In the vast Starry Sky, there were countless planes and empires. Among the countless Starry Sky Empires, the 9 Starry Sky Empires were the most powerful. They were the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Starry Sky Empires. Dozens of Starry Sky Immortals from the 9 great cosmic empires teamed up to kill Gu Tian and Yi Ji. If this matter was leaked out, Gu Tian would definitely be besieged. Even Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire would suffer. However, Longao already knew about this matter. Previously, Gu Tian had already said that if he insisted on doing so, they would live and die together. If not for this, Gu Tian and Yi Ji would not have followed him to the Soaring Dragon Empire. Senior, I have already agreed to live and die with Gu Tian. The God Diviner wasn't surprised at all. He nodded and said, I understand your character. You have to be careful. Although your talent is not bad and you will definitely become a starry sky immortal in the future, the 9 great cosmic empires aren't as simple as you think. It's best if the 9 great cosmic empires don't find out about this. Remember, if you run into trouble in the future, you can bring your family back. Chapter 2245. Longao hadn't expected the God Diviner to say such a thing. Friend or foe? Longao was a bit confused. The God Diviner was either sincere to him, or his disguise was too good. The God Diviner himself didn't reveal any flaws. It would be extremely difficult for him to see through him. Many thanks. Longao, you can go. Longao didn't linger. He turned and left. Only the God Diviner remained in the Crystal Palace. Things are getting more complicated. Longao is too unpredictable. Should I cut the weeds and eliminate the roots? The God Diviner couldn't make up his mind. He didn't know what to do. Longao was both the key and the variable. Even if he was the God Diviner, he was still gambling. If he won, he would obtain a huge opportunity. If he lost, all his previous efforts would be for naught. He left the Crystal Palace. Longao took a few steps and returned to the Massacre Abyss. In the current Dragon Valley, only 1 in 10,000 people had broken through to the Starry Sky realm. The laws of the universe made it so that those who hadn't broken through to the Starry Sky realm couldn't enter. If they tried to force their way in, they would definitely die. The only way was to put everyone in the Primal Chaos Palace and bring them out of the Martial Heaven continent. However, Longao felt helpless. The Primal Chaos Palace could only hold 100 people. If he had to move them again and again, who knew how many times he would have to move them? No matter how he thought about it, he couldn't come up with a good idea. However, Longao did come up with a good idea. Perhaps others wouldn't be able to do it, but the Starry Sky Immortal would definitely be able to. This method was very simple. It was to borrow the Starry Sky Immortal's power to forcibly create a transportation formation between the Martial Heaven continent and the Soaring Dragon Empire. That way, they would be able to move everyone in the shortest time possible. However, if he wanted to create a transportation formation, he had to get the God Diviner's permission. Otherwise, how could he casually create one without the God Diviner's permission? The God Diviner agreed without the slightest hesitation. The God Diviner would create the transportation formation for the Martial Heaven continent. As for the Soaring Dragon continent, Gu Tian would create the transportation formation for them. The next day, everyone in the entire Massacre Abyss chose to enter the teleportation circle, moving from the Sky Martial continent to the Soaring Dragon continent. In the short span of a day, everyone had been transferred. All of them have been transferred? Yes, thank you, Senior. Without the slightest bit of accident, Longao heaved a sigh of relief. He had been worried that Master Clairvoyant was up to something. However, Longao knew that if Master God Diviner wanted to deal with him, no matter where he went, Master God Diviner would be able to find him. After all, he had personally witnessed the power of the Starry Sky Ruler. Longao, I have already destroyed the teleportation circle. The Soaring Dragon Empire has Gu Tian, so there shouldn't be any problems for the time being. However, you still have to remember, unless you have no other choice, don't use Ancient's strength casually. I understand. Longao was very depressed. Even if he wanted to utilize Gu Tian and Yi Ji's strength, the two of them had to be willing to be utilized by him. Before they came to the Empire, Gu Tian had already made it very clear that they would only protect the Empire's safety. As for the Empire's development, the two of them wouldn't care too much. Is there anything else? Master God Diviner, I would like to ask you for a favor. I want a Starry Sky Realm Emperor's Godhead. Longao asked for the Starry Sky Realm Emperor's Godhead on behalf of Jianwudi because he had promised Jianwudi that he would help him break through to a higher realm. Under normal circumstances, Jian Wudi would need a long time to break through from a titled world venerable to a starry sky realm emperor. Moreover, Longao was doing a favor for his friend. If Jian Wudi could devour this starry sky realm emperor's godhead, he would be able to break through to the starry sky realm emperor in the shortest time possible. As for the future, it wasn't something he could control. Master God Diviner didn't waste any time and directly threw out 4 starry sky realm emperor's godhead, titled world emperor's godhead, starry sky ancestor's godhead, and titled world ancestor's godhead. If Jian Wudi could devour 4 starry sky realm emperor's godheads consecutively, he would be able to break through to the titled world ancestor's realm. Just this once. Many thanks. Longao stood up and left. He didn't expect Master God Diviner to be so straightforward. Not only did he give him a starry sky realm emperor's godhead, he even gave him the other 3. After leaving the sky martial continent, Longao returned to the soaring dragon realm. Brother Long, are you looking for me? Jian Wudi didn't expect Longao to find him a starry sky realm emperor's godhead in such a short time. Taking out a starry sky realm emperor's godhead, Longao smiled and said, "After you devour this starry sky realm emperor's godhead, you should be able to break through to the starry sky realm emperor's realm." Longao was also a selfish person. Although Jian Wudi was half a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire, he wasn't a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire. This starry sky realm emperor's godhead was something he had promised to give to Jian Wudi. Receiving the starry sky realm emperor's godhead from Longao, Jian Wudi said gratefully, "Brother Long, thank you for finding this starry sky realm emperor's godhead for me. To tell you the truth, Master also found me a starry sky realm emperor's godhead, but I didn't devour it." In an instant, Longao had already understood Jian Wudi's intention. It turned out that Jian Wudi was the same as him. He wanted to rely on his own cultivation to reach the peak of the martial Dao step by step. However, Jian Wudi was a little different from him. If Jian Wudi encountered a legend rank or starry sky immortal godhead, he would definitely not decline. Taking back the starry sky realm emperor's godhead, Longao smiled and said, "If that's the case, I won't force you. You're too polite. Then I won't stay any longer. Master is looking for me. Alright, take care." Longao didn't continue to persuade Jian Wudi to stay. He could sense that Jian Wudi had something to ask of him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in such a hurry to leave. Since Jian Wudi didn't want the starry sky realm emperor's godhead, Longao naturally had a candidate in mind. If one person devoured 4 starry sky realm emperor's godheads, although it was a little wasteful, the refining speed would be very fast. If 4 people devoured the godheads, they could create 4 experts, but the refining speed would be slower. After thinking about it, Longao ultimately chose to give the godheads to his elder brother. As the emperor of the empire, Long Ying was considered the most important person in the empire. Others might not have strength, but his elder brother must have strength. If his elder brother could devour 4 starry sky realm emperor's godheads, he could definitely break through to the titled world ancestor realm. No one could compare to his own family. Looking at the 4 starry sky realm emperor's godheads in his hand, Long Ying was shocked. He thought that Longao knew what the 4 starry sky realm emperor's godheads meant. If he could devour them, he could definitely become a titled world ancestor expert. Author's note: another 5 chapters continued at night. Chapter 2246. 4 Starry Sky Godheads. Starry Sky Realm Emperor Godhead, titled Realm Emperor Godhead, Starry Sky Ancestor Godhead, titled Universe Ancestor Godhead. If Long Ying devoured all 4 Starry Sky Godheads, he would become a titled Universe Ancestor. Long Ying was very excited because he had never thought that there would be a day when he could become a titled World Ancestor with his cultivation. Seventh brother, thank you. Longing knew that if it wasn't for his seventh brother, he wouldn't have been able to reach this step. Big brother, you and I are brothers, there's no need to be so polite. Hurry up and refine the 4 starry sky godheads. He nodded. Longing certainly knew the seriousness of the matter. With the development of the soaring dragon empire, there would be a lot of trouble and danger at any time. The stronger he was, the more help he would be to the empire. Longing didn't hesitate and immediately began to devour the 4 starry sky godheads. However, Longao knew that even with his brother's talent, it was impossible for him to become a titled universe ancestor in a short time after devouring the 4 starry sky godheads. At this moment, the soaring dragon realm welcomed a new person. Others might not know, but Longao knew very well what this person meant. Blood Demon, the Starry Sky Destroyer. Blood Demon was sealed in the Dragon Seal by Longmia for more than 10,000 years. Longao was almost certain. Blood Demon and Longmia definitely had a grudge against each other, but they were both afraid of each other and didn't explode. If there was a chance, whether it was Blood Demon or Longmia, they would think of all kinds of ways to destroy each other. The Starry Sky Destroyer wasn't really immortal. Longao, you don't have to worry. I'm not here to find trouble with you. In fact, there's no grudge between us. It's all because of Longmia. Longao nodded in agreement. There was indeed no grudge between him and Blood Demon. Even so, it would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. No matter what, Blood Demon's identity was there. If he regained the Starry Sky Destroyer, it would be a matter of minutes for him to destroy the Empire and himself. Longao could clearly feel that Blood Demon was no longer the same as before. Even he couldn't sense Blood Demon's true strength. In other words, he had no idea what kind of strength the Blood Demon had recovered. Titled Universe Ancestor? Starry Sky Powerhouse? Star Legend? Or Starry Sky Undying? He didn't know at all, so Longao was very afraid. However, the Soaring Dragon Empire now had a Starry Sky Legend and a Starry Sky Immortal. As long as the Blood Demon's cultivation hadn't recovered to Starry Sky Dominator, he wouldn't be able to do anything. Blood Demon, may I know what brings you here? He went straight to the point. Longao didn't want to have anything to do with the Blood Devil. He always had a bad feeling in his heart. It was too much of a coincidence for him to be in contact with all 12 rulers of the stars for no reason at all. Even he didn't want to believe it. Blood Devil smiled. Longao, why do you reject me? I can tell you clearly that Longmia is your enemy, and I can only be your friend. According to my guess, Longmia will definitely deal with you in the future if nothing unexpected happens. Do you think you can compete with a Starry Sky ruler with your own strength? He couldn't. Longao didn't even wait for the Blood Devil to finish speaking before answering in his heart. The 12 rulers of the stars were already the most powerful beings in the vast universe. He couldn't be a match for them unless he could refine the Chaos Stone Tablet in his body and become a new Starry Sky ruler. However, until now, Longao wasn't sure if the Chaos Stone Tablet he swallowed could help him become a Starry Sky ruler. What if it couldn't? However, Longao wasn't too worried. Even if he couldn't become a Starry Sky ruler, at least he had Long Chong's help. It should be known that Long Chong had already swallowed the 5 Elements Chaos Stone Tablet. If nothing unexpected happened, Long Chong would definitely become a Starry Sky ruler in the future. Longao knew very well that Long Chong's situation was different from Long Ming and Ji Mei's. Whether it was Long Ming or Ji Mei, they were Starry Sky rulers. It was just that they hadn't awakened their primordial spirits before. That was why they had distanced themselves as soon as they had awakened their primordial spirits. Longao knew that his relationship with Ji Mei and Long Ming had changed. As for whether they would be friends or enemies in the future, it was still unknown. With Long Chong's help, the other Starry Sky rulers wouldn't dare act rashly. Longao didn't tell anyone about this. Only Long Ming, Ji Mei, and Xian Tong knew. As for Xian Tong, Long Ao knew that at the very least, Xian Tong wouldn't be his enemy. I don't understand what you mean. Long Ao didn't know why Blood Devil had come this time. He didn't know why Blood Devil would say that out of the blue. After all, the grudge between him and Long Mia didn't seem to have anything to do with him. As if he could guess Long Ao's thoughts, Blood Devil smiled and said, Long Ao, I'm here to ask you for a favor. Don't worry, I won't ask for your help for nothing. If you can help me, I'll give you a starry sky immortal godhead unconditionally. Moreover, it's a complete set of starry sky immortal godheads. That way, you can create a starry sky immortal godhead in the shortest time possible. How long? 1 year will be enough? Long Ao didn't have the slightest doubt. Others might not be able to do it, but that didn't mean Blood Devil couldn't. No matter what, Blood Devil was still a starry sky ruler and a starry sky ruler. First, I want to know, what's this about? Long Ao wasn't a fool. He knew that Blood Devil wouldn't give him so many starry sky immortal godheads for nothing. He knew what it meant to create a starry sky immortal godhead in 1 year. Thus, Long Ao didn't agree immediately. If it was a matter of life and death, he would rather give up. Long Ao knew that he couldn't let anything happen to him. If something happened to him, what about his family? What about his lover? What about his family? What about the empire? Long Ao, don't worry. To you, this matter won't bring you any harm. Perhaps you can use this chance to break through continuously. I can give you these starry sky immortal godheads in advance. From the starry sky territory ancestor to the starry sky immortal godheads, all the starry sky immortal godheads appeared in the air, and Long Ao caught them. Long Ao knew that Blood Devil had come prepared this time. If he didn't agree, Blood Devil wouldn't give up. Pondering for a while, Long Ao said, Give me 3 days. After 3 days, we will leave the soaring dragon realm. What do you think? No problem. Blood Devil didn't even think before agreeing. He seemed to have guessed that Long Ao would agree. Chapter 2247. Who should he find to devour these star god sparks? Long Ao was very clear that with the starry sky godhead in his hands, he could indeed create a starry sky undying being within a year. He found that these star god sparks had already been refined by Blood Demon. Who should he choose? After thinking for a while, Long Ao decided on one. Grandpa Long Hausher. Yes, it was Long Hausher. No, Ao, I know you're doing this for Grandpa's sake, but I'm old. Why waste these star god sparks? Looking at the star god sparks in his hand, Long Hausher was dumbfounded. Starry Sky Undying was the strongest existence in the vast universe besides the 12 rulers of stars. Ever since the 12 rulers of stars fell, Starry Sky Uncultivated was the strongest in the universe. Long Hausher's meaning was simple. He wanted to devour these star god sparks for nothing. Long Ao shook his head. Grandpa, I've made up my mind. Hurry up and devour them. Long Hausher knew his grandson well. Once he decided on something, he wouldn't change his mind. He sighed deeply. Long Hausher didn't say anything else and went into seclusion to cultivate. 1 year. After 1 year, Long Hausher would break through to Starry Sky Undying, which meant that the soaring dragon empire would have its own starry sky undying. That way, even if Gu Tian left the empire, there would at least be a starry sky undying. No one would dare to provoke the empire. 3 days later. Long Ao didn't tell anyone that he was leaving the soaring dragon empire. Blood Demon, where are we going now? Even now, Long Ao didn't know where Blood Demon was taking him or what he needed him to do. Long Ao, to tell you the truth, I've successfully reincarnated and destroyed the tablet, but I can't refine it. Strictly speaking, I can't become a starry sky undying again. What did that mean? Long Ao was shocked. He knew what it meant if Blood Demon couldn't become a starry sky undying. What had happened? Longao's intuition told him that things weren't that simple. What happened? He was curious. Longao, I believe you already know what happened back then. Longao knew very well that the Blood Demon was referring to the 12 star rulers who had fallen together and entered the reincarnation path. Could it be that Blood Demon's inability to refine the primal chaos tablets was related to what had happened in the past? Longao nodded but did not say anything. We can say with absolute certainty that Master God Diviner was the one behind everything that happened back then. Longao was very clear about this. Yang Qi refused to believe that Master God Diviner could have been the first to awaken his nascent divinity and become the sovereign lord of the starry sky. Master God Diviner has already returned to being the ruler of the starry skies. Normally speaking, even if the process of assimilating the chaos tablets is slow, it shouldn't be this slow. I don't know what the situation is with the other rulers of the starry skies, but I've gradually come to the realization that I can't truly assimilate the chaos tablets. Therefore, I can't become the ruler of the starry skies. Then what do you want? Come with me to a place. As for the reason, you'll know soon enough. Longao grew more and more curious. He got straight to the point. Blood Demon, forgive me for being blunt, but why do you want me to come with you? Longao was very clear about his own power. He couldn't reach the sovereign lord of the starry sky. Longao, you and I are both smart people. Perhaps your power hasn't reached our expectations, but I can say with absolute certainty that in the future, you will be able to control the movements of the starry skies. Longao didn't completely believe the Blood Demon's words. He could control the starry skies? What nonsense was that? What qualifications did he have? If the 12 rulers of the starry skies could control the starry skies, then that was true. Other than the 12 rulers of the starry skies, perhaps not even the eternal stars could do that. Blood Demon, where are we going? Longao didn't want to waste time. After dealing with this matter, he had other matters to attend to. The Blood Demon seemed to be able to guess what Longao was thinking. Thinking about it, he said, Longao, I'm going to take you to the martial heaven continent to ask the God Diviner. Longao cursed inside. You're going to ask the God Diviner about the primal chaos tablet? What's the point of dragging me along? He was truly depressed. Blood Demon, forgive me for being blunt, but you can go by yourself. Why drag me along? Would the God Diviner give him face? The God Diviner wouldn't even give face to the other rulers of the starry skies, let alone him. Longao, my meaning is very simple. I'm not asking you to take me to the martial heaven continent to see the God Diviner. While I'm holding him back, you have to find a way to enter a place and help me find something. If you can find it, perhaps I can refine the primal chaos tablet. I'll do my best. Since things had already reached this point, how could he refuse? Longao was very clear that if he refused, the Blood Demon wouldn't hesitate to attack. He didn't care, but what about the Empire? The martial heaven continent? The Blood Demon's thoughts were too simple. As soon as the two of them entered the martial heaven continent, before Longao could leave, the God Diviner appeared in front of them. He smiled and said, "Please." The Blood Demon was a bit surprised. He had never imagined that the God Diviner would be able to sense Longao's presence despite being enveloped by his aura. Just how had the God Diviner done it? Since they had been discovered, the two of them didn't continue hiding. Instead, they left with the God Diviner. The outer sea, the Crystal Palace. Longao sat at the side and did not say anything. He was very depressed in his heart. This Motherf Kerr had only left for a few days, and he actually came back again. The main reason was that he wondered if the godly mathematician would deal with him because he was with the Blood Devil. For some reason, Longao had a feeling that the God Diviner wasn't as simple as he seemed. Otherwise, Why would the 12 rulers of the starry skies have died at the same time? How could the God Diviner have awakened his Yuan spirit so early? It was a bit strange. It wasn't just him. The other 11 rulers were curious about this as well. They just hadn't asked yet. God Diviner, let's get straight to the point. Did you do something to the primal chaos tablet? I can't refine it, so please give me an explanation. Wait a moment. Just at this moment, 9 terrifying auras appeared. Before Longao could react, 8 figures appeared. They were the Devouring Starry Sky Ruler, Lightning Starry Sky Ruler, Space Starry Sky Ruler, Time Starry Sky Ruler, Reincarnation Starry Sky Ruler, Slaughter Starry Sky Ruler, Sword Will Starry Sky Ruler, and the Indestructible Tyrant Body Starry Sky Ruler. Chapter 2248. 12 Rulers of the Starry Sky. Rulers of the 5 elements Starry Sky, Devouring Starry Sky, Lightning Starry Sky, Space Starry Sky, Time Starry Sky, Destruction Starry Sky, Reincarnation Starry Sky, Slaughter Starry Sky, Clairvoyance Starry Sky, Sword Will Starry Sky, Indestructible Tyrant Body Starry Sky, and Darkness Starry Sky. Longchang, the ruler of the 5 elements Starry Sky, wasn't present. Darkness Starry Sky was no longer present, having been destroyed by Master God Diviner. The remaining rulers of the Starry Sky were all present. Xiling, Longming, Yijimei, and Xiantong were all present as well. In other words, the 10 most powerful people in the Starry Sky had all gathered at the Crystal Palace in the Outer Sea. Longchang understood that this gathering had been arranged by Master God Diviner. Otherwise, these lofty rulers of the Starry Sky wouldn't have appeared at the same time. The Blood Demon was furious because he knew what had happened. Cough, cough, cough. Master God Diviner cough. He looked at the crowd and said, "You came to me one after another to ask why I couldn't refine the Chaos Steels. I won't answer you one by one. I'll wait for all of you to come, and then I'll answer you all at once." No one was surprised in the slightest. Longchang sat off to the side, not saying a word. Under these circumstances, he couldn't get a word in edgewise. Each of them was a lofty ruler of the Starry Sky. Any one of them could cause the entire Starry Sky to tremble with a stomp of their feet. Seeing that no one was speaking, Master God Diviner continued, "I can now clearly tell you that I didn't lie to you. If you don't believe me, you can choose to leave." It was mandatory, because Master God Diviner was now the strongest person in the Starry Sky. Under these circumstances, who would dare oppose him? They could only be angry, but not dare say anything. Seemingly satisfied with their attitude, Master God Diviner laughed. "You can't refine the Chaos Steels this time. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a difference in compatibility between you and your respective Chaos Steels. After all, you've already reincarnated." Everyone nodded in agreement. That was the only reason they could come up with. It was very depressing. Master God Diviner's words, they'd chosen to die and reincarnate. But now they couldn't even refine the Chaos Steels. It was so depressing. But what they couldn't figure out was how Master God Diviner was able to refine his primal chaos tablet. One reason. Unless the godly mathematician hadn't perished and hadn't entered the cycle of reincarnation. Thinking of this, everyone despised Master Godly Mathematician to the extreme. Even so, no one dared to say a word. "Clairvoyant, what should we do now?" No one wanted to pursue the past. Even if he wanted to pursue the matter, he would have to see if it was appropriate. In any case, Master God Diviner was now the strongest of them all. Everyone knew that even if Master God Diviner couldn't truly destroy them, all he had to do was seal them. It's simple. Everyone pricked up their ears, wanting to hear more about the oracle. Given the current situation, he had to refine the primal chaos stone tablet first before anything else. "Please speak." Refine as much as you can. Break through to the starry sky, immortal realm first. When the time comes, I'll help everyone refine it. What did that mean? Everyone was completely confused. Wasn't Master Godly Mathematician telling everyone that he could help them refine the primal chaos stone tablet, but not now? He wanted them to wait. Just like that. Everyone's fate was in Master Godly Mathematician's hands. When the time came, Master Godly Mathematician would do as he said. No one dared to say a word. Master Godly Mathematician, why aren't you helping me refine the primal chaos stone tablet now? It's simple. Because I'm not ready. Alright, don't ask anything else. I won't tell you. If you're not convinced, you can refine it yourself. Don't come looking for me in the future. If it was before, would Master Godly Mathematician dare to do this? But now, no one dared to say a word. Everyone stood up and chose to leave one by one. So what if they weren't convinced? Master Godly Mathematician's meaning was clear. If they weren't convinced, they could fight back or leave. But no one dared to say a word. This was strength. After everyone left, Master Godly Mathematician said, Longao, are you curious why they can't refine their primal chaos stone tablets? Nodding his head, Longao said, I am indeed very curious. According to normal circumstances, they have already refined the primal chaos tablet once before. Even if the difficulty of refining the second time is higher, it is impossible for them to have no chance at all. It had to be Master Godly Mathematician's doing. There was no doubt about it. Longao couldn't figure out why Master Godly Mathematician would tell him. Was his status higher than the other rulers of the universe? That was utter nonsense. Longao knew his own status better than anyone else. Compared to the other rulers of the universe, he was nothing. Because of this, he couldn't figure it out. It seems you've guessed it, Master Godly Mathematician said. You're right. I did something to the primal chaos stone tablet. Back when I was the first to awaken my nascent divinity, I took all of the other tablet. Do you know why I did that? Longao nodded. How could he possibly know what Master Godly Mathematician was thinking? But what he couldn't figure out was why Master Godly Mathematician didn't seal the other rulers of the universe. That way, he would be able to dominate the universe. That was something that everyone would want. Furthermore, Longao couldn't figure out why Master Godly Mathematician had done something to the other primal chaos stone tablets. Could it be that everything that had happened years ago had been a trap set up by Master Godly Mathematician to harm the other rulers of the universe? Longao, Master Godly Mathematician said, I'll explain everything to you in a bit. But right now, all I can tell you is that if I succeed, it won't just be me. Everyone else, including you, will benefit. Understand? What did that have to do with him? Yes? Of course, Longao didn't say anything else. After all, he couldn't afford to have a falling out with Master Godly Mathematician. Not even the other rulers of the universe would dare to provoke Master Godly Mathematician. After all, Master Godly Mathematician was the most powerful person in the universe. Longao didn't linger. Instead, he rose to his feet and left. Master Godly Mathematician was the only one left in the Crystal Palace. It's not time yet, Master Godly Mathematician said with a deep sigh. Chapter 2249. All the rulers of the starry sky had left. Only Xiling remained. Xiling had been waiting for Longao the entire time. In the void of the 9 heavens. Xiling, you were waiting for me? Yes. Let's leave the Tianwu plain first. Alright. Longao knew what Xiling was afraid of. The Tianwu plain was the Master God Diviner's territory. It was better to be safe than sorry. Who knew if the Master God Diviner could hear them? The two of them left the Tianwu continent and casually found a plane to stop in. Where's Bai Ling? Longao missed Bai Ling very much. As soon as they stopped, he asked. Bai Ling is recovering. You don't need to worry. Longao, I just realized that the Master God Diviner treats you very well. Why did you appear in the Crystal Palace in the Outer Sea? Longao didn't hesitate in the slightest. He roughly explained what had happened. Longao trusted Xiling very much. Although Xiling wasn't his confidant, he definitely wouldn't give her back to him. That was something he was incomparably certain of. Longao, do you feel that something is wrong? Yes. The Master God Diviner has already made it clear that he tricked you. Furthermore, he has already destroyed the Dark Ruler. Hearing this, Violet's spirit was completely stunned. Xiling knew that Longao wouldn't lie to her. Could it be that the Master God Diviner had really destroyed the Dark Ruler? What's going on? Longao also didn't hide anything. He told her everything that had happened. The more she listened, the graver her expression became. Xiling hadn't expected the Master God Diviner to be able to destroy a Starry Sky ruler. If Longao hadn't told her, she wouldn't have believed it. Even if the 12 Starry Sky rulers weren't truly immortal, they couldn't die so easily. Even if they were on the same level, it would be very difficult for them to destroy another Starry Sky ruler. How had the Master God Diviner done it? She couldn't figure it out. He simply couldn't figure it out. Xiling's face looked grim. If Wizard Clairvoyant could destroy Dark Galaxy Leader, then he could destroy other galaxy leaders as well. If that was the case, then Master Clairvoyant was a little too terrifying. Longao, there are two possibilities. The first is that the Clairvoyant can really destroy the star race. The second is that the Clairvoyant is using a trick. Are you saying that the Dark Starry Sky Dominator didn't die? Yes. Xiling thought for a moment and continued, the 12 of us are protected by the Chaos Stone Tablet. It is impossible for us to die unless the Chaos Stone Tablet chooses to leave on its own. Only then can it be destroyed. Longao had also suspected this. That said, he had personally witnessed Master God Diviner destroy the Dark Starry Sky. It was too strange. Let's not worry about that for now. Master God Diviner is in control of our Primal Chaos Tablet. If we don't deal with this quickly, we'll all become puppets of Master God Diviner. So serious? Thinking about it, he felt relieved. If Master God Diviner could control the other Chaos Steels, then controlling the other rulers of space would be a simple matter. It was indeed frightening. Even now, Longao still couldn't figure out how Master God Diviner had done it. Xiling, how can I help you? Nothing could happen to Xiling. Not to mention his relationship with Bai Ling, just his relationship with Xiling meant that nothing could happen to Xiling. Longao had already decided that even if he had to fall out with Master God Diviner in the future, he would still help Xiling. How could Xiling not understand Longao's intentions? She was right. Anyone else would have chosen to flee in the face of such a powerful Master God Diviner. Who would dare fight the Starry Sky Dominator? Almost no one would dare. However, Violet's spirit was certain that Longao would do the same. She knew Longao too well. Longao was fearless. Not to mention fighting against a godly mathematician, even if he had to fight against all of the Starry Sky rulers, Longao would do the same if he had no other choice. Xiling, Yijimei, and Long Ming's situation, I'm sure you already know. I'm not sure whether they'll be friends or foes in the future, but Xian Tong and I are on good terms. Longao was indeed depressed about this. He'd rather they weren't rulers of space. That way, things wouldn't have gotten to this point. But since they were rulers of space, there was nothing he could do. Even if they met on the battlefield in the future, there was nothing he could do. Whether it was Yijimei or Long Ming, their attitudes had undergone a 180-degree change. Longao was depressed. Why didn't anyone else become rulers of space? Why did they choose these two? He was really unlucky. Xiling knew what Longao was thinking. She sighed deeply and said, Longao, I'm really curious. Why do all the rulers of space surround you? And why does the Master God Diviner treat you like this? It seems that your identity is not simple. Or perhaps the Master God Diviner has already calculated something. You might be a variable. Longao didn't say anything. He had already guessed that if he wasn't a variable, the Master God Diviner wouldn't treat him like this. Besides, Yiji Mei, Xian Tong, Long Ming, Long Mia, and the other rulers of space were all around him. If it was only one or two, it might be a coincidence. But if all the rulers of space were like this, then it couldn't be a coincidence. It seems that I'll be in big trouble in the future. Yes, you have to improve your strength as soon as possible. Remember, before you're fully confident, don't make an enemy of the Master God Diviner. Otherwise, Xiling didn't finish speaking, but the meaning was clear. The Master God Diviner was no longer the same as before. Unless Xiling could completely refine the Chaos Stone Tablet and become a ruler of space, no one would be his match. Longao, of course, knew what Xiling was worried about. He nodded and said, "Xiling, there's one more thing. The ruler of the 5 elements Starry Sky has fallen. I've given the 5 elements Chaos Stone Tablet to Long Chong to devour. If nothing unexpected happens, Long Chong will become the new ruler of space." Xiling sighed deeply. If the ruler of the dark starry sky had really fallen, then what happened in the past would have caused the deaths of 2 rulers of the starry sky. He would be lying if he said he wasn't worried. Xiling had always thought that even if he wasn't immortal, he would never die. But with the deaths of 2 rulers of the starry sky, he gradually realized that things weren't as simple as he thought. Especially in a situation like this, it was getting more and more troublesome. No one knew what the Master God Diviner meant. At that moment, "Xiling, can you take out the Chaos Stone Tablet in your body and let me have a look?" If anyone else dared to do this, they would have been killed by Jianling. But since Longao said so, Xiling didn't say anything. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.